backyard. And if you zoom in, you can see we did stake out and put some yellow tape of the proposed location of the outdoor kitchen just for reference. And then moving down to the 3 bottommost images when you're ready. So this one on the far left is they're standing on the existing outdoor dining terrace that is attached to the south side of the main house, looking toward the location where the outdoor kitchen would be. You can see that there's an already open area free of vegetation where that stone path is. That is the location we're proposing for the outdoor kitchen. Moving over to the right for images 7 and 8, this is standing in the backyard in the approximate location of the outdoor kitchen, looking north back toward the rear elevation of the existing garage. And then in the image number 7, you can see just the corner of the existing main house there off to the left. If we proceed to the next sheet. Starting on the left with the site plan. As I mentioned, we are proposing to widen the driveway in 2 locations. You can see those with the 2 cobble pattern. We are proposing a cobble material for those expanded driveway areas. Also, as part of the scope of the work, there is some drainage issues. The water currently runs towards the structure, so we're working with a civil engineer to massage the grading between the existing driveway and the north side of the structures to direct water away from both structures. That does require us to resurface the parking area directly in front of the existing garage. We're proposing that once the grading is done, the material come back as a cobble as well to match the 2 proposed widened areas of the driveway. And then if we want to zoom in slightly on that bottom right corner of the site plan, that is the proposed location of the outdoor kitchen as mentioned. So as you can see, it's proposed to be on axis with that existing stone dining terrace on the south side of the existing main residence. If we want to move to the bottom left, we'll start with the plans for the proposed structure.
Bottom left.
Bottom right.
All right.
My apologies. If we could zoom down so we can see the actual floor plan. So the outdoor kitchen has a grill, a pizza oven, and a handful of other cooking amenities. We are proposing this as a wood pergola structure with a roof. When we initially presented concept design, we had suggested a glass channel roof, but upon further review with the client, they were worried about maintenance. So it is now proposed to be a Tough Flex applied material. There are other low slope Tough Flex roofs at some locations on the main house, so that material would be taken directly from that language. For the outdoor kitchen itself, we can zoom in on the RCP real quick. I'll just briefly point out that we are proposing lighting. They will be under the roof of the structure and they will be directed downward toward task surfaces. So these are strictly for illuminating counter space within the kitchen. And then moving upward to the elevations, we are proposing that the walls that surround the cabinetry of the outdoor kitchen be constructed of stone. This is a language taken directly from the adjacent dining terrace. And then for the pergola elements, we're suggesting that these be wood. If we go up to the uppermost details, there is an existing historic pergola on the opposite side of the property. So our recommendation is that the wood elements of the purlins and the beams of this outdoor kitchen take their profiles directly from that architectural language that already exists on site. And I believe that concludes the presentation.
Thank you very much. Questions, Bill?
Yeah, what's the existing driveway? Is it a paver now? And you're just going to match that with the new added areas?
So the existing driveway is an acid wash concrete. It's actually been, some areas of it have been replaced. So they're all very similar acid wash concrete, but there's not a consistent material for that driveway loop. So the cobble would be a new material that we are proposing. Sorry, there's a fire.
Is that up there?
So yes, yeah, so that's the acid wash material. So the cobble would be a new material, but by putting it both in front of that existing garage and then at the two widened driveway areas, it allows us to create a uniform language at the arrival at the front of the house, but also have a nice clean transition between the new widened driveway areas and the existing acid wash driveway surface.
So you keep saying cobble. Is it actually a paver or is it actually a cobble?
It's actually a cobblestone is what we're proposing.
So you're doing an interlocking cobble as the treatment, not an interlocking paver.
Correct.
Okay. And then is there anywhere where a neighbor looks down on this? Is what's happening with the topography? Is this going up or down?
It's going down, but there is dense vegetation along the east side of the property. So if the board would like in a future presentation, we can provide additional imagery of that. You can see a little bit, I believe it's image 6. So this is looking toward that easterly property line. You can see we have trees and quite a bit of dense hedging. And then there's also on the property line a fence. And then there's several feet of additional vegetation before you get to San Ysidro Road.
So there's not going to be seen from neighbors on the San Ysidro side or the road.
Correct. Correct. And that's part of why we provided the first 3 images looking up and down. You can see that this whole section of San Ysidro is densely planted on both sides.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. That was it.
Claire,
Yeah, what, we're in questions. What is the reason for the widening of the driveway?
So it is primarily for vehicular access through in the pull through. So the client, in addition to the existing garage, wanted 1 or 2 areas if they had guests over that could park their cars but still allow complete circulation of the driveway. The area across from the garage a little bit ties into that drainage issue I mentioned, but the westernmost pullout is more for parking and circulation of the existing driveway.
Okay, thank you.
is that it, Claire?
Yeah, that was the only question I had.
Thank you very much. Chip
No questions.
and Elida?
Is the landscaping being impacted?
So we are working with a landscape architect. We're only proposing to change or address landscape in areas where we're grading for that drainage. So there will be a small swath that gets affected at the north of the existing residence. And then just as needed around that proposed outdoor kitchen location.
Will we see a planting plan down the road?
You will. We've sent one to our planner, but unfortunately it wasn't ready in time for initial submittal. So it'll be part of the next presentation.
Great, thank you.
Don, did you join us today?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. You're on, buddy. Questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
And I have a question of the planner. This is 750 square feet footprint, but it looks like the roof is over 800 square feet. Is that permitted under the new regulations that kicked in about a year ago, year and a half? Doesn't the roof have to stay at or below 800 square feet?
I believe that there is a provision for roof overhangs. If they're less than 3 feet, they are not counted. If they're over 3 feet, they are counted.
Yeah, so, okay. So you might want to consider that in your design. And I don't see an FAR worksheet on here. I know it's small project, but did you complete one, please?
Yes, it's on the cover sheet in
Yeah.
the bottom left-hand corner.
Aha. And you're at 75 or thereabouts?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 1, 699 San Ysidro Road, please?
John, I didn't receive any letters and no one has their hands up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Comments, please. Bill?
Yeah, I'm fine with the outdoor kitchen structure. I think that looks fine. I don't have any issue with that. I'm not that I'm opposed to the cobble, certainly. I'm just not sure about the structuring of this. Is it better to look more organic? Or would it be better if it had a little more of a regulated shape to it? I'm gonna maybe let the other landscape architects chime in and see if they have any issue with that, but it just seems like is it better to, it's more random? I don't know. So anyway.
Bill, or what you, just, I'm gonna just jump in because you talked
Yeah.
about landscape. Are you talking about what's been added on to the?
Yes. Yeah, the added area. Mhm.
And then,
Better to have more of a regulated shape versus just sort of this random cobbles like they were laid.
well, but the cobbles are gonna be laid on the whole driveway, right?
No, no.
Oh, you mean that, so we're oh, well, wait a second, then, I'm not understanding what's going on here then. Aren't the cobbles do the cobbles exist on the old driveway?
No, it's an acid washed concrete and they're
Right,
adding.
and so you're changing materials then from the old driveway on these add-ons, it's gonna be a different material?
Yes. that's what
Yes, so the two pullouts are completely new, and we're proposing a cobble material to create a natural break between the widened area and the existing driveway. We are replacing material in front of the existing garage, and to help tie that into the new widened sections, we're proposing it also be.
On that sheet, and I put it back as.
Yeah, I'm just not sure about the pattern. I'm okay with maybe yeah, is it better to just connect these two together and make it more regulated and have a path starting and stopping? That's the part I'm just not certain about how that will look. So that's my only question.
Well, no, I'm actually trying to track, your question, and I want to tack on to what you're saying, what Bill is saying is now that I understand that it's actually a change of material from what the driveway is now with these little pop outs, that material is going to be, and that, so I would ask the applicant, this is my statement now, to actually really restudy that. For me, I think that's going to be really, it's just not, it just doesn't quite work for me having the driveway one material and these little extensions of the driveway or the widening of the driveway being in a completely different material. I am kind of with Mr. Wolf on that. So given this is the first time we've seen that, my statement about that would be would you please relook at that? Because right now that it doesn't, it's okay for the garage, where all this material goes into the garage thing, but these little things on the side of the driveway being a different material, it doesn't work for me. So that's what right now, that's a problem. So would you relook at that and we can talk about it when you come back?
Yes.
Yep, please.
I do agree with all comments from Claire.
Elida,
No comment.
Don,
I also agree about the driveway. It needs to be explained and resolved a little more closely. Other than that, I think it's the pergola and everything is a nice project.
I think it's a very nice project too. In fact, when I reviewed it earlier today, I was wondering if we couldn't push this on to consent. It sounds like people need to see this driveway. I actually disagree with what the board members are saying. I think that it could easily be considered as a shoulder or as a landscaped element adjacent to the driveway. And if you wanted to pursue this, inspirational images oftentimes help resolve lack of understanding on our part. Maybe we're right, maybe we're not. So what does the full, because it sounds like we're down to the driveway, do we need to see this again at the full board, or can we push this on to consent, please?
No, it's not ready to, for me, I'm not ready to, I mean, this is the first time that we've seen it.
Okay, very good. So you wanted to come back. This is such a, Claire, I'm good with that. So preliminary final next time, everybody?
Yes.
Is that okay, Claire?
So we're asking the planner to put it on for preliminary next time.
Preliminary final is what I'm suggesting. Are you okay with that?
Fine, that's fine. I don't, you know.
Okay, and so all details, everything, that's a high bar, but trying to give you a shot.
And the
So there-
landscape plan, and the landscape
Yeah,
plan.
we don't have to see the landscape. I mean, see, that's why I'm not willing to turn it over to consent. We haven't even seen a landscape plan on this. We haven't seen a lot of stuff yet on it. So, you know.
Okay, is the message clear there?
Yes,
Yes.
understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. See you sometime. Item number 2, 462 Crocker Sperry Drive. We're on for conceptual review. And Don, Robert, did I see you on today?
Yes, it's Robert. I'm here.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Okay. So this is a house in Burnhamwood, 462 Crocker-Sperry. The scope of work is we're going to convert an existing garage into a bedroom and a bathroom. We're going to build a new garage, and then we're going to redo the auto court and the guest parking. We also are going to do an extensive interior remodel of the bathrooms and the kitchen, new doors and windows, replace the roofing material. There is one thing on the project description that talks about retaining walls. We're not doing any retaining walls, but we are doing a wall, a garden wall along the street. So if you want to go to that slide, if you zoom in down the bottom there onto the auto court, you can see the existing auto court with its 2 driveways coming in. And we are going to redo that. We're just going to have one driveway in the middle, and then the guest parking on the right, and then see the new garage on the left. So there'll be a lot less paving, more landscaping. There will be a landscaping plan coming. We haven't done it yet. We met with Burnham Wood yesterday with their review committee, and they like the project, but they're requesting more information on the landscaping. So that will be part of our next presentation. If you want to go move, so all the material is stone, it's stone cobbles, sorry. And the bigger pieces will be a stone as well. And then if you want to go down to the bottom, there's an elevation of that wall that goes along.
On the bottom of that same sheet, Bill.
The bottom of that same sheet, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. So it's about 3 feet, 7 inches tall. And there's a good view of it on our rendering that's coming up. So we go to the next page. Here's the photos of the existing house. Then there's the existing floor plan, demo plan. And then this is a proposed plan that shows the new bedroom. It's like 460 square feet. It gets us to about 86% of guidelines. And the new garage, we turned the garage so you don't see the garage doors from the street, which I think is an improvement. We keep going, the roof plan. Next page. So that was existing roof, new roof. So you can see the new roof over the garage. So there's one big change that we've made since these drawings were finished. You can see we were proposing a new roof on top of the existing roof. And we're not going to do that. We talked to a structural engineer and had them take a look at it, and the work that it would take to accomplish that is quite a bit. So we are not proposing to change the roof at all. So the next slide is just so
This
it'll be existing and new on every sheet of every side of the house. So that's the new garage.
So just while you're going, so you're saying that what we're seeing, the north existing elevation, that's the way the house is going to look. You're going to keep the old roof, not change the roof. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes. And then that is the other side of the house. And you can see how we are. That's the new garages where they face the auto court instead of the street. And I think there might be one more. Yeah, that's the yard view where we're increasing those two doors to the backyard. And the rest of them are pretty much like for like windows and doors. So there's the rendering. If you go zoom into the top left, you can see the wall where I was talking about. It's quite a bit off the street. So there's plenty of landscaping. At this point, we're proposing 6 new olive trees in that area. And the rendering shows the new roof, but again, we're not going to do that. We are going to do new roof material. And if you want to go around to the other renderings, I can explain those. This is just another angle of the side of the garage. You can see the single entrance. Let's see what else we got there. I'm gonna go down. Yeah, another angle from the street. The new auto court, and then you see the back of the house with the new doors. There's an existing outdoor kitchen that's staying, that's on the right-hand side. And you can go to the next sheet. Exterior lighting, I believe that is. I will be putting new light fixtures on the front of the house and on the garage. I don't think we've picked an actual light fixture yet, though. And the next sheet.
That's it.
Is that it? Okay. I guess that concludes my presentation.
Questions, Don? Please. Don Sharp?
You're muted.
You might be muted, Don. Okay, while he's figuring that out, Elida, questions, please.
No questions.
Tip. Are you muted, Tip?
He's not there. I don't see him.
He was here.
And he's muted.
Okay.
No
Robert,
one
you
wanted to
have a
see the
lot of people
presentation.
interested in commenting on your project. Bill, please.
I feel a little insulted.
Bill,
This is
please.
Don. I will comment.
Okay. No, questions.
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 I'll comment or questions. I
No
have no questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Don. Bill, please.
So Robert, the colors, are they going to match what's there? Or are you doing new colors? I mean, you were not there yet, but I just thought I'd ask since it looks like it's.
We're definitely going to change the color of the exterior.
Okay.
It won't be as white as it looks like in the rendering. We're going to change the color of the exterior doors and the shutters. Right now, I think they're pretty dark, and the shutters, I think, are black. The roofing material will be basically the same. It'd just be a nicer material than what's up there now.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Is that it,
Okay.
Bill?
That's it.
Claire, questions?
Yeah, what is the cap material on the new wall?
Sandstone.
Like sandstone, blocks of sandstone or just
Yeah, like,
random
you
sand?
know, 2 feet to 30-inch long. And there'd be one, you know, from front to back, there would be one solid piece.
Got it. And does that material occur anywhere else? I mean, does that? Yeah.
It occurs on the borders of the cobblestone driveway and the
Oh,
curbing.
got it. Right down here. I see that. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's, thank you.
Is that it? Thank you. Tip, did you come back yet?
Yeah, I'm back.
Questions, please.
Just one question. How wide is the driveway entrance?
I believe it's 20 feet. Is there
20 feet?
I,
Looks like it's.
yeah, I'm not exactly positive, but I remember laying it out a couple months ago, and I believe it's 20 feet.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 2, 462 Crocker Sperry Drive, please?
I didn't receive anything, John.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Okay, comments. We're going to try doing it in the order I originally had. Don, comments, please.
Thank you. I believe the overall finished project will be better than the existing. And I see no problems myself at all. Thank you.
Lida,
I agree with everything Don has just said.
thank you very much. Tip,
Yeah, everything is fine. I just may be looking at the throat coming in, maybe 16 feet might be proportionally better coming into the house, but that's about it.
Bill, please.
Yeah,
Comment.
no, I think everything looks good. I would just maybe suggest a better garage door since it is still part of the courtyard. But everything else looks good, you know, something maybe with a little bit of detail to it. Maybe you have a plan for that, but it doesn't look like it's showing there, so that's all.
Claire, thank you, Bill. Claire?
I kind of agree with Tip's, you know, that it might be nicer to choke in the width of this driveway. You know, I mean, the fire department usually needs 14, so, you know, it just kind of would really close up this large area for parking and things, but it's not a have to. And then you mentioned earlier in your presentation that you had just gone to the Burnham Wood group with this project. They just saw it yesterday, is what you said?
Yes,
And so
that's correct.
are there any comments that we should know from that meeting, or you don't have any comments back from them?
Well, the comments in the meeting were positive. They requested a landscape plan and they were comfortable with everything else.
Okay, fine. Okay. So that was, I know, well, it was a comment and a question. Okay, so that, yeah, other than that, I think that the comments that have been made by the other members of the board are probably appropriate. And yeah, and look, I think it's a pretty straightforward, nice project that you're creating. Yeah. What's interesting on your is that sometimes on your presentation, it's correct. Some of the are black and some are brown as far. So you want to get that all figured out.
Yeah, we'll clean that up.
Yeah, with all what those really are going to look like and what color they're really going to be before you come back.
Yeah, we'll have a full color board.
Yeah, thanks.
I think this is a nice upgrade. I agree with Tip about the width of the driveway. At least study it, please, and make sure that it's not the superior solution, but very nice project. So what do we want to do next? I think this is pretty straightforward. I would suggest preliminary final at the full board unless somebody has other comments, please.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Okay, so Robert, next time, all the way if you can get it. Thank you very much.
So what was the final consent?
Preliminary final at the full board.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 3, 1180 High Road. We had 3 comment letters. Are there others that would like to address the board, just so that I have an idea where we're going?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a hand up.
Okay,
I believe there's
so
few-
the order of the meeting is the applicant will make their presentation. Our board will ask questions. We will then open it to public comment, either read letters, listen to people that have attended the meeting. We'll close that. The board will make comments and figure out where we want to go next. So applicant is it Jason Carter? I'm not sure who's here. Please.
Yes, present.
Okay, so the floor is yours. We are on for concept today. Thank you, Jason.
Okay. Let's see. I don't do this very often. I'm trying to get full screen. There. Are the drawings full screen for you all?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I can't. There's little on my screen.
So go ahead and make whatever presentation you'd like to, and then we will ask questions.
Okay. At the rear of the property, there's a driveway easement, and we are converting the carport to a garage, 585 square feet. During the COVID pandemic, the owner had some trouble with rodents eating the wires in his car, so he enclosed the carport, so that's already been closed. But then we're going to propose a hobby craft room above the garage that's 483 square feet for the owner's daughter to do some painting that she does. And on that upstairs hobby room, there will be a deck facing toward the mountains, 189 square feet. Roof slope heights and all the finished materials will match the existing garage, which is a light stucco and a dark shingle. Also, there's a detached storage shed in the rear easement on the back side of the driveway easement that is 16 feet tall, and we need to reduce that to 12 feet. I believe that's everything. We can go through the drawings as well.
Bill, can you scroll down?
I'll just scroll through them.
Thank you.
Floor. Roof. Elevations.
We are matching the existing house height to the top of the roof. Existing house is 2-story.
And that's the shed, correct?
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Yes. The bottom row is the existing, and then the top shows with the top part cut away.
Jason, does that finish your presentation, please?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so questions from the board. Tip.
So is it true that the new garage will be encroaching into a side yard setback?
Yes, it does. And we're taking that. I understand we're able to take the trade-off for the amount that we're encroaching, and just above that, we're relocating that portion as an open space right there.
And how close is it from the next door neighbors?
It's
It's really close.
that's 4 feet 8, not quite 5 feet to the property line. And then their building is actually closer to the property line than ours.
Before we go there, was that, Tip, I don't know if you had a chance to go through everything. Was that garage or carport ever permitted?
No.
Hang on, Claire, let him answer, please. So Jason, was that carport or ever permitted, please?
There, I believe there was a record. It would have been years ago when we looked. We did another project on the house, and I don't recall just now, but I believe there was a document on it. I don't know. I believe our planner Sam is here also. He may have additional info.
Sam, are you on, please? Sam?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. The garage, the carport previously was legal non-conforming.
Okay, very good.
And so the
Thank you.
second story portion will be directly over that.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We are adding that gray shaded area between the carport garage and that one right there will be our stair entry. And then on the opposite side, at the second floor, the dashed lines on the opposite side is where the balcony will project beyond the garage footprint.
Anything else, Chip?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Bill, please.
Could you explain the second floor a little better to me? It looks like you've got the walls going to the outside edge with false windows into this cavity space of some sort.
Those are built-ins down both sides where the wall heights are lower, except for where those windows are there. Between the windows, there's cabinets that are built in with those double doors.
So between the windows, there's cabinets, but but there was something in the reading here that said something about frosted glass, so you can't see out of them, but you get light in and out of them into the room.
Yes, sir, that's correct. The planner at some point, Sam recommended that those not be the kind that you can see through.
So these are like little cavities that go back and the outside wall on either end. And then this is in the stairwell.
Yes.
And then this is storage.
Art, she does her art, all of that in there.
Yeah.
And then there's a restroom facility there for cleanup.
Right, now this is considered accessory, so you wouldn't be able to have a shower in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, and then what's the plate height here on this?
Oh,
6 feet, or I mean, is that 6'8"?
let me, can we zoom down on, at the left, there's,
Is that a 6'8" head height or door, window and door?
so we've got 9 feet ceiling. That's, I don't have it. We were just matching the house height, not to go beyond, and then the roof just came down from there. But yes, maybe 6.5 or 7 feet.
Yeah, I mean, these doors are at 6'8", aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're just a little above that. Okay. Okay, that was all. Thank you.
Claire,
We're in questions?
we are in questions.
No questions.
Don,
I have no questions. Thank you.
Elida,
No questions.
I may be jumping the gun, but I did read the comment letters this morning in preparation of the meeting. And it seems that there's a good deal of concern about the building being so close to the property line. They express it in different ways, but that. Is there another place that second story could be placed that would be better architecturally and from a community standpoint of view? I'm not talking about construction cost. I'm not talking about ease of construction. I'm talking about quality of the final building. Is there a better location that you can imagine for that second story, please?
None that I or the homeowner can imagine. It just made sense to have it above the existing garage and not take open yard. The master bedroom there projects to the rear, but it has a vaulted ceiling, so we can't build above it.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that. Now we are up to public comment. I found 3 letters in the file today. How many people are here? Did you write a letter I want to be as efficient as we can, but we do want to hear from you.
John, I'll start with Mr. Porter. I believe he submitted a letter as
He
well.
did. He did. A very good letter, actually.
Mr. Porter, can you unmute yourself? Thank
Yes,
you.
am I on now?
You are. Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Yes, my name is Frederick Porter, and I live at 185 Middle Road in
And
Montectio.
where is that exactly in relationship to the project?
Next
Door on the southeast side.
Which is that side where the cursor is?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. So you are very much affected by this project.
Very much.
Potentially. Okay, very good. Thank you. Go ahead.
So we appreciate, I'm reading the note, but I'm going to add some things. We appreciate the Montecito architectural guidelines and development standards that architecture and landscaping respect the privacy of immediate neighbors on page 2 of the goals. Also, that residential privacy is a key ingredient in the quality of life in Montecito, also in the privacy protection, page 14. And then again in the revision on October 2021, the MLUDC, the purpose states to protect the use and enjoyment of neighboring properties. It's 35.430.010C. So we appreciate your assistance in protecting these values for our community. Regarding the proposed second-story addition to the carport/garage, the second story to the carport garage would overlook our master bedroom and balcony, family patio, and back entrance. The primary invasion is the balcony overlooking. And now I put south and west neighbors, our area, I don't know, my compass was, I don't know, east is west here and north is south. So at any rate, where it does, it looks right basically into 3 neighbors' backyards is the view of the balcony. And we propose that the balcony be put on the inside of the project, so we look out on their own property, and that perhaps even a privacy wall at the edge of the balcony to protect the neighbor and limit the visibility to the adjoining properties. The key when you describe the carport, and what Sam did, is that it's legal non-conforming. So this, at the beginning, infringed upon the setbacks. And I'm somewhat disappointed in really the setback guidelines, because really all one has to do is, if you breach the setbacks, you can mitigate it by stating that you won't go over the setbacks on other parts of your property, which doesn't seem very substantial. And the same actually the distance between the structures. We look forward to the support of the MBAR's responsibility to protect and maintain the neighborhood and community standards, and we respectfully submit this.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Sharon, next, please.
Yes, Mr. Gillard, can you unmute yourself, please?
There, is that working?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Stuart Gillard. I'm speaking on behalf of my wife, Marilyn Gillard, and myself. We live at 1199 Summit Road.
And where exactly is that in relationship to this project, please?
Mr. Watson, it's a property right adjacent to it, so that it's our backyard is facing that garage. And
Okay, so on the picture on the screen, to the right, left, top, bottom, please.
You just clipped at the top, Mr. Watson. If you just lower the picture a little bit, I can't quite find our property. There, we are on the top.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've lived up here in Montecito for over 30 years. And one of the things that attracted us to Montecito, besides it being a very safe and beautiful place to raise our children, was the fact that the community values privacy so much. Because you can see by this aerial view that this project will really impact us, and we object in the strongest terms to the present proposal. Because where you've got your cursor now, just to the right of that, is where the current carport is. And up till now, it's just an open carport, so it was no issue. But now they're proposing this second floor, which is almost 500 square foot hobby room and almost a 200 square foot deck. And this is really invasive. It will look right directly into our backyard, into our swimming pool, into our 2 outdoor patios, and most invasively, it'll look right into our bathrooms and bedrooms. And because of the drought and because we've tried to conserve water, we've lost over 50% of our hedge screening now. And we can't mitigate that because we'd have to plant mature trees. And with the drought conditions, that's just impossible. So we really object to this entire proposal. I mean, in the interest, I guess, of a compromise, I'm trying to be a good neighbor here, we would propose that they eliminate the deck entirely. Well, that's the huge issue, and scale back the size of the existing windows, which are very large, and frost them so that there's nobody can peer down into our yard. This seems to be the only solution. And the only other one is, as Mr. Porter pointed out, maybe flipping the deck to the back side of the hobby room, and so that it overlooks the owner's property. But as you can see, the neighbors are, this property is surrounded by neighbors on all three sides, and everyone has expressed concern for this to me personally. And as Mr. Porter referenced, you know, the goals of the Montecito architectural guidelines say to ensure the architecture and landscaping respect the privacy of immediate neighbors, and more to the point F says, avoid placement of windows and decks which look directly onto private areas of adjacent properties, which this does. And so my wife and I are.
Can you wrap it up, please?
Yes, so we would just ask that the board think about what would happen if this were built in your backyard and people looked into it, and what that impact would be on your privacy. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate your service to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gillard. Is there one more or multiple, please, Sharon?
There is, did anybody else want to speak to this project? Can you raise your hand? If not, we're going to move on.
We had a total of 3 letters. Did everybody?
I don't have anybody else with their hand raised, so if you want to go with the letter.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I couldn't really decipher it because of the quality of the handwriting. I'm completely opposed. I don't know. Please don't ask me to read anything more. I just don't.
I'm right there with you, John. Boy, I couldn't figure. I tried to rewrite it myself, and I still couldn't figure it out.
1173 Summit Road. Maybe Bill, you could figure out where that is on your drawings on your Google Earth. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I had a hard time reading it. So, okay, so is there anybody else that would like to address the board? I want to make sure everyone is heard that needs or wants to be heard.
No one, no more hands are raised.
Okay, so I'm going to close public comment. We're now back to the board. Tip, comments, please.
Yeah, as you know, as my question leading to my comments, I definitely feel that the second story is kind of literally looming into the neighbor's property, and even the height of the 2-story portion. And I think that if you have a chance to redo that now, because it was just a carport, I believe that the carport can be tilted, perhaps, and to get it out of the setback line, because it needs to be a brand new building anyway. I don't think you can save anything with that carport with the 2nd-story addition and the load and the bearing and all that kind of thing. So I believe that it pretty much be a new building. So I like to see if that could be completely out the setback line, and bring the height down a little bit and keep the balcony away from the neighbors. I think that would be a good direction. But other than that, I think, you know, the project is modest.
Are you done?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill, please.
Yeah, I agree with Tip. I think there's probably not much that you're going to salvage. Obviously, you're not going to have any lateral, so you're going to be building new walls, and the carport really doesn't have any value there. So certainly consider pulling it back off the property line. But in lieu of that, too, the 2nd story, I think my proposal there would be to not have the walls go of the 2nd story stack over the 1st floor, and bring them in to the point where you know, it's a narrower space. You know, maybe as people have talked, you run the balcony facing the side into their yard here instead of out into the street and into the neighborhood.
Yes.
And,
Sir, please mute yourself. This is our meeting now. Thank you.
kind of clean that up, but I think there's some treatments you could do easily to the second floor that would give you a nice space and allow you to have the decks facing other directions too. So I think a little bit of restudy on that, and it could be nice. Maybe it's dormered gables or something in the roof line there that would help maintain that height, but still get the windows and doors facing the other direction. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Are you done there, Bill?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Claire, please.
And my comments kind of are pretty much the same as everybody has made. And mostly, I think the whole project with garage and hobby room, or if that's what we're calling it, needs to be out of the setback. It doesn't need to be there. And one of my proposals is that in noticing the drawing, you've got a 3-car garage. Maybe you only need a 2-car garage, and which is that you don't have to have such a big garage. Then you could scale back the hobby room, as Bill Wolf has mentioned. So I think the whole project needs to be scaled back and so that it's not, it looks separate from the lovely house that was there. It's not consistent with the architecture that's there on site. It's like it's a big box that somebody decided to have a bigger garage with a hobby roof on top, and it has nothing to do with the existing architecture of the lovely cottage feeling. And so my comment would be to go home and restudy that, because the way it is right now, I am not going to be able to approve it.
Thank you, Claire. Don?
Thank you.
Don Sharp, please.
Well, I certainly agree with all the comments that have been made. Plus the fact that if possible, it would be nice for the applicant to meet with the neighbors and discuss, maybe even chalk out and have some idea of the heights. But I think all the neighbors have a very legitimate concern, and that might be possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elida.
Well, this is the second time in 2 weeks that we've had second-story issues going on in these tight neighborhoods, and I feel for the proximity of the neighbors very close by. It seems that Bill had the most equitable solutions to scale it down the size, get it in. It's a hobby room. Get it inside the width of the garage, and certainly relocate the balcony. I don't blame these folks. So that's my comment.
Thank you, Elida. I am presently sitting in Chartres Cathedral, or so it seems, but in reality, I'm sitting in about a 250 square foot detached studio that I have used for watercolor and in architecture's office for close to 30 years. And it is enough to easily accommodate both of those activities. I would think that a substantial rethink of this project from ground up may be the best idea. I would not vote to extend the intrusion into the setback. Yes, I know there's a provision, but that there's a reason that Montecito has a discretionary review as opposed to ministerial, which would just, it's in the code, you're permitted to do it. I just will not vote for anything like that, particularly a second story. So I asked the question about perhaps putting it on the second floor, maybe over that bedroom and kitchen area. I heard of a tall ceiling in the master bedroom, but the applicant did not say anything about that for over the laundry area, I guess is what that is, or I guess those are secondary bedrooms next to this two-story ADU build.
Oh,
I don't know if that works or not, but it clearly would be a better project for the neighborhood. I think architecturally it would be a better project too. So that may not be the right solution, but what I am suggesting here is a complete rethink, please. So this is on for concept, so we have no motion. I think it comes back to concept. Is that correct with everybody?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I guess we're done. Thank you very much, Jason. Good luck with the redesign, and we will see you the next time you get back.
Thank you all.
Okay, item number 4. This is actually the first of 2 items by the same applicant. So 570 Meadowwood Lane. It's a small lane off of Sycamore Canyon. David, are you here with us today?
I am here, yes.
Very good. The floor is yours, please.
Do you want to read the minutes, John, first?
Yes, thank you very much, Bill, for keeping me in line here. Restudy site design, consider integrating structure more fully with the site, address site access and provide covered parking, coordinate with fire department, provide an arborist report, consider alternate massing strategies. David?
Thank you. I'm David Parker. I'm here representing Meadowwood Lane LLC. We first presented this project at your hearing on July 29th, 2021, where it received generally favorable comments and the specific instructions that Chairman Watson just read. We have studied all of the things that Chairman Watson listed, and on the in the drawings that we've submitted, I would call your attention to the renderings. The first of which is on the cover sheet, and then there are additional renderings of the proposed, up in the upper left corner. This is a view looking northeast, and this is from on the property. The property, as you've seen before from the site photos, is fairly well protected and obscured from the various neighbors, and the proposed residence is somewhat in the center of the property. There are additional photos of our proposal on sheet A9 of this set. Yes. So the view in the upper left corner is we're looking toward the southwest, and the access drive that is proposed, you can see in the foreground of that view. One of the instructions was to add a garage or carport, and so we've added a 2-car carport on this side of the building, and we've also, in response to the comments made at the previous hearing, created a more dynamic roof line, which is more in line with the next separate proposal that we'll be sharing, whose roof line your commission seemed to like very much. I would note also that the roof on these buildings, or the pitched roofs, are all Tesla shingle roofs, and so we've been trying to really adhere to sustainable concepts in the design of these structures. The structures are proposed to be cedar siding and would be stained. We gave you a chip of the Benjamin Moore Fairview taupe that we propose staining them with, and then the stone would be a native Santa Barbara sandstone, and the pergolas and carport would be powder coated aluminum. The windows would be powder coated aluminum as well. We've also with the design of the structure, integrated more into the grade here. And I would also note that in the design of the structures on this property, we tried very hard to be as to adhere to the existing grades as much as possible, and also to preserve the existing trees to the greatest extent possible. We've also designed an accessory dwelling unit, ADU, which I understand would be under separate permit.
And which we do not review because of state law. Thank you for mentioning it. Please move on.
Okay.
We're not permitted to look at it.
Okay. I think these are the elevations of the main residence, and the windows on the lower level look out onto the terrace, which is the sort of southerly or southwestern corner of the residence. And the height of the building, the main residence, is 31 feet 9 inches, and the square footage of the building, it has a footprint of 1,352 square feet. The overall square footage of the residence is 2,363 square feet, which is less than 50% of what we would be allowed to build on this site. It's 47% of the floor area that would be allowed. Also included in your set is a drawing that our landscape architect did, and I would ask that Mark Tessier be able to speak, or Mark, if you're on the line, if you could raise your hand so that you could be given permission to speak.
Mark, are you here, please? Sharon, do you see him, please? Mark, somebody.
Tessier. Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's over. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Let me move him over. Yeah, I'll just allow him to talk. I can't move him over. Mark, did he go? Yeah, he's over now.
Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Thank you. So basically in front of you is our landscape plan. It's actually an amazing parcel of land that we've been asked to participate in designing. The whole idea is that we're really trying to keep this as natural and native as possible. It's more about meadow grasses and understory oak woodland type species, less about sort of a more traditional ornamental garden. In terms of the planting, you can see representative plant species at the top. Anything you see illustrated in a light green is basically sort of a mix of different grasses, yarrow, a few Iris Douglasiana, but the general idea is that it feels very sort of expansive. And once it gets up more or less to the drip line of the oaks or the sycamores, well, actually more up to the oaks, then it transitions to sort of the understory plant palette, which is sort of coffeeberry, heuchera or island alum roots, Catalina currants, ribes, different sages. So the whole idea is that it's very much derived in probably the evergreen palette of species that exist in this general area. All of them drought tolerant and all very much in keeping with the existing California live oak and sycamore tree palette. Over to the right, sort of the middle, just below the main house, there is actually a blueberry patch. It's a specific request from the client. So mixed in with the native, mixed in with the meadow grasses, there is a collection of blueberries that he and his kids are very much excited about. All the existing trees are being preserved. There are a few that are affected, not directly affected, but they are sort of affected by the driveway entrance. Even though we're not actually changing the driveway in that location, 4 trees are affected. So we are proposing to keep those trees, monitor them with our arborists on staff. And then we do have 3-for-1 24-inch box for each of the 4 that are affected as replacement trees that we're going to plant, regardless of any impacts that they may have after that. And then just in closing, the hardscape is basically a chip seal entry drive for the fire trucks. So asphalt with a Santa Barbara colored sandstone topping, sandstone paving, sort of accentuating the paths, and then all the pedestrian paths, the walking paths are all decomposed granite. So really trying to minimize all the paving to only be where the fire trucks need to go.
And would you review your downlighting in the tree, the 4th fixture from the left, please, where that goes, please?
So the downlighting goes at a few key locations on the existing trees. So they're tree mounted downlights. The idea is that we never angle that any more than 30 degrees. So there's rarely any glare. They all have shields. The path lights are only 18 inches high, and those do occur along the pedestrian paths along the areas where we envision guests and the owners are walking at night. And if it's a secondary path, then it's actually not lit.
Does that,
And to the left are the sconces on the house, of course.
does that complete your presentation, gentlemen and lady? It looks like there's a lady there. Yes, okay.
My office as well.
Excellent, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. Questions, Claire?
No questions at this time.
Don?
I agree with no questions at this time.
Elida?
Are the 4 specimen trees you referred to, are those oaks that are coming out that you're doing the mitigation 2 or 3 to 1?
Correct. There. Am I still?
You're on.
Yeah, you're on.
So yes, those are they are California live oaks. Yes, there's 4 of them.
And are they are they being removed to accommodate the building envelope?
We are fairly confident, and our arborist is as well, that they will not be affected, but we are resurfacing the pavement below them. In that segment, we're actually keeping the existing road where it is to even lessen the impact on them. So there's no plans to remove them, but there is a chance that they may be adversely affected. So proactively, we're going to go ahead and plant the replacement trees, even though the trees will not be removed.
Oh. This is new to me. Since you presented before, is the landscaping being impacted by the footprint of the new building?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kip, questions?
No questions.
Bill, questions?
Is the reason the house is high on the grade, are you in a floodway? Is that why we're up so high? Is that?
We are, and the house that was on this property before was destroyed in the debris flow.
Okay, all right. And then the driveway, is it pretty much in that location? Is that, and you're just kind of repaving it and resurfacing, and then you're adding?
It more or less existed in that location, coming in up until the point where you see the turnout for fire trucks. That exists in essence to about that point, not the turnout, and it was essentially where we're putting it before, but the driveway is gone from there on now.
Oh, so it did continue all the way through at one point, and
it did.
Removed, and now you're putting it back roughly where you think it was.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 4, 570 Meadowwood Lane, please?
I don't see anybody's hands up, and I didn't receive anything, John.
Thank you, Sharon. Comments, Claire?
I actually really like this. I mean, I like the architecture of this project really a lot. And I remembered now what the question I had is the driveway comes into this project, you know, and up to the house. But the driveway continues, and is that driveway continues on to the next lot and the next?
Yes, the next project we'll see is item number 5.
Okay, I get that. Okay. Then I have a question. Was this lot divided after the fact? Was this a bigger lot, or was there always 2 lots?
It was always 2 lots.
Okay.
The neck, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just a land use question, because I was, other than that, I think you're doing a really good job on this project. I'm quite happy with the project so far, except for the hanging lights in the oak trees, which you probably wouldn't know this, but I'm like a nut about even being a landscape designer. I really do not and will not approve hanging oak trees lights. So
zero, your comment is 0, Claire?
Zero hanging lights?
Yes, is that your
In the
comment?
oak trees. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, are you done there, please?
Yes.
Don, please.
Thank you. I also believe this architecture goes well in this site, and it looks like it belongs there to me. I am very concerned also about the overlighting the paths and so forth, when it's, in my view, not really necessary. But I think the project is very, thank you.
Elida, please.
No comment.
Tip, please.
No, I think it's a nice, small, modest, disappearing in the wood kind of project. And I just hope that it's fire resistant or fire retardant. So because it's completely in the Oakland. But other than that, I think it's a beautiful project. Thank you.
Bill?
Yeah, I agree. Architecture is great. No problems with it. I have no problems with the building and the structure. It's unfortunate you got to build it up like you do, but that's the unfortunate area. But the one thing I would comment is, although I'm okay with some lighting in the trees, I would say not as many, maybe half as many as you have, one in each that you've shown where you have doubles. I would be okay, and maybe not this one just because it's closer to the property line. But I would reduce those substantially, at least the tree lights. The path lights that shine down, I'm okay with. And that looks like it's a workable night sky compliant fixture, which we've seen before. So yeah, the rest of it looks good. Thank you.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, I do have one other comment. Is that this is a 2-story dwelling, and the next one also is a 2-story, and we have not, I mean, it's rare that we approve 2 stories without having had a site visit. So I just want to put that out there, that we haven't had a site visit, and this is a 2-story. So
okay, and can I infer from your comment that you think at least some story polls should be done? We are at concept, we're not at preliminary.
no, I know. Well, I know, but usually at concept is when we start talking about story polls, and we've got, what I'm proposing is that we have a site visit for both lots at the same time, and the architects decide on where story polls may or may not
No, let's have the board do that, but you're gonna champion, let's do a site visit, right?
Yeah, I think we do it for every other
Yes.
two-story building,
Yes.
so I don't know why we're gonna let these two go, that's kind of my,
Okay, so thank you, Claire. My comment is I also think this is a nice building. It's obviously hearkening back to some of the fads that were developed in the 1970s with the sloping roof, maybe Charles Moore. But I think it's very nice. I think the drawings are well done, fully describe what's coming on down here. I think for consistency, a minimum amount of site poles for this project would be beneficial. Do other members agree with that, or is there something?
My comment to this, John, is that I think maybe we did or didn't discuss that because it was so nestled in these trees.
What do you think? What do
that
you think today? Yes, no?
Well, I was thinking maybe we didn't need it, but I
don't feel that we need it either.
2-2?
I agree.
With which side, Don?
Well, with not having a site visit.
3-2, Tip?
Agreed.
With no site visit or site visit, please?
No site visit needed.
Okay, 4-2. So I think we will forego it on this project, which will be the second time in my tenure, which is about 8 or 9 years now, where we haven't done it, but I think that may be a good decision. So where do we go from here, guys?
Is that the same decision that we're making for the lot next door?
Well, we're not on that project yet, so let's wait until we're there. Okay, so where do we want to go next? Obviously, there are a significant number of drawings, details. I think we have a pretty good idea. Where do we want to go from here, people, please?
it looks pretty complete to me. What can we give it?
Nothing, but where do we go next? Preliminary final?
Preliminary final.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
okay, so we have not seen any landscaping of significance. So relocales, full plant list, numbers of plants, grading quantities. I know they're very low, making sure that that's still true. Site lighting, I also say very few, if any, tree lights. So is that good enough direction for you, please? David? Yes, David?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the next item, item number 5.
Our recommendation then is the recommendation to the planner is that this be placed on our next agenda for preliminary and final.
On a future agenda. Who knows when he's going to be ready? Preliminary, final.
Well, I know, but it's, okay, yes, okay.
Okay. Item number 5, 590 Meadowwood Lane. This is next door, same architect. Mark, please, David, I'm sorry, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman Watson. Again, I'm David Parker representing Meadowwood Lane LLC. This project was initially submitted also in October 2021, and you had very positive comments about the building design then. We were instructed at that time to address site access, provide covered parking, and to coordinate with the fire department while providing an arborist report. We have done all of those things. We were here again in June of this year with more detailed drawings. However, as you may recall, we learned only hours before that hearing of a building envelope restriction that was associated with this specific parcel that had been agreed to by a previous owner of the property. Upon learning that, we withdrew from the hearing and have since slightly repositioned the main house with a double carport added, and we eliminated the previously proposed pool and pool house. done. And so the comments I would make here are that we further developed the design and added more details to the drawing. We also now are sharing with you, which is on the screen, a preliminary kind of conceptual landscape plan that I would ask our landscape architect Mark Tessier to please explain.
So, of course, these two projects are intended to sort of read together, and the topography and the existing plant material is the same, coast live oaks and the sycamores. So this is a continuation of the driveway. This is the terminus, and this is what we agreed upon with the fire department, where it's actually not just a turnaround for our property or properties, but it's also the terminus for the entire street. So we were able to design this to both accommodate our uses and our needs for fire protection, as well as many other properties along the street. The plant palette is again the same, where everything you see in light green is the Carex meadowgrass, along with the yarrow and other species. This area has a few more sycamores, so you'll see that the sycamores are actually part of the meadow, as opposed to having the understory planting of the ribes and the ceanothus. There's a small water feature that sort of works with the existing topography. I think this might have actually been the original stream. This, based upon previous comments, has been reduced significantly in scale. This configuration was encroaching within the protected zone of the adjacent oaks. So you'll see in our next submittal that the water feature, just 18 inches deep, has been redesigned to work outside those protected zones. And again, the plant palette is this, the hardscape palette is the same, with the use of Santa Barbara sandstone, flatwork, and decomposed granite paths. And the chip seal driveway.
Thank you, Mark. Could I also ask that you bring up on the screen the rendering that's in the upper left corner of the cover sheet? This is the view of the main residence as seen as you're arriving on the property. And there is a terrace on that side, and this side of the building faces north, and you can see the carport there as well. And then there are, as Mark could speak to, there are large stones that relate to sort of how the runoff will work, and it creates subtle breaks in the chip seal driveway. And then if you could go to sheet A9 of the set, there's another perspective there. Yes. And so this is here we are looking from within the property, and we're looking north west, and the sloping roof sections are Tesla shingle, and the material. One thing that I forgot to mention on the previous submission is that although the exterior is stained cedar, the cedar will be treated with a fire-resistant additive to the wood. And then there is a terrace here at the southeastern corner. The building had to be positioned at a certain height because of concerns about the water table or the flooding, potential flooding. And then there is a screen porch that is engaged within the house on that side. These are the elevations of the building. In the upper left corner, the large squares that you see at the bottom, that's screen, and that's the engaged screen porch. And then there is the deck that is on the south eastern corner. And then this is the eastern, that was the eastern elevation of the building in the lower right corner. Mm-hmm.
Does that finish it up, David?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, questions, Bill?
Yeah, the terminus of the driveway here, would that mean, well, two things. One is, does fire approve chip seal? I guess they do if it's not a slope. Is that right? Do you know?
That is correct.
Okay. And second is, if that is for the neighborhood, then you wouldn't be able to have gates or fences across your property. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, we do not intend gates or fences there. Mhm.
And last thing, which is I'm a little ahead of things a bit, but I thought I'd ask anyway, because you got details everywhere else. I don't see a chimney cap detail. Do you have a plan for what you're gonna do there? Is that, you're gonna need some kind of spark arrestor probably?
Bill,
Yeah,
let's
well-
hold that for final.
Final, all right.
Mhm.
I'll just-
Okay.
that's a
Thank you
heads
for
up.
alerting him, but
That's a heads up, okay.
yeah. Is that it?
Yep, that's it, thanks.
Don,
Thank you. As with the other project, I feel this belongs on this site. It just blends in beautifully. And my only concern would be all the wood, and I'm glad to hear that the cedar is to be fire resistive. I wonder about all the other beams and so forth, but that's clearly spelled out in the code. So I think it's a good project. Thank you.
Chip,
Are we now comments or questions?
questions, please.
I have no questions.
Claire,
No questions.
Elida,
No questions.
and I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 590 Meadowwood Lane, please?
No, John, there's nobody here to address that.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Comments? Bill?
Yeah, I like the other. I think it's fitting with the area, the environment. It's tying in certainly with the neighbor building that is under the same design. The site looks good, probably the same comments. I think site lighting is going to be the same issue. The hanging tree lights, reduce those down to minimal amounts and provide a chimney cap detail. And other than that, I'm good.
He got it in there. Okay, Don?
I've given my comments. Thank you.
Chip?
I don't have any further comment to ask, but actually I do have one comment. Can this house be seen from across the street? No, across the creek, I mean.
Not we have photos of the property, the views from the middle of the property, which are on sheet T1.03. And those are there. We have the panoramic views on sheet T103.
Yeah.
Yeah, because across the creek is a very big estate. What the name? It's the where they film Scarface, I think. And I know that you guys share a creek. I wonder if and the creek was completely washed out during the last flood, and I was wondering if it can be seen at all.
So Chip, are you suggesting story poles?
No, I'm just wondering. I'm just trying to debate. I look at the map and I saw the big. If you zoom in a little bit, you can see it with a.
Well,
huge...
the problem with what Bill is showing us Google Earth, which is very, very old, because what Google Earth is showing us is the buildings that got washed away. So this is a much empty, bigger, is empty right now. If you go to the other whatever we use, you can see that it's just two big lots with trees all around it. Not what we're seeing on Google Earth. This is really an old Google Earth. I think we should not be looking at it because that's the.
But you know what? Come to think about it, I highly doubt it. So I have no further comments or questions.
And now, Claire, your turn.
I don't have any other comments. I mean,
Very good. Thank you very much. Elida, please.
No comment.
And I have no comments. So where do we go next? Preliminary, final, full board?
Yes.
Okay. I think take a hard look at eliminating all or most of the tree lights and full landscape plan, irrigation, WELO, finished details on the architecture. Thank you very much. There is no motion because we are on for concept. So good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Somebody's got a dog, please mute yourself. Item number 6, 2176 Sycamore Canyon Road. Kevin, are you with us today?
I am.
Very good, thank you. Okay, the floor is yours, please.
You wanna do-
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Bill's keeping me in line here. Comments from before. Provide conceptual grading plan, including proposed walls. Concerned about the amount of grading and paving proposed. Concerned about the mass, bulk, and scale of the addition and the variation of roof elements. Don, please mute yourself. Work to make roof elements more cohesive. Rendering 3D model would assist with review of the project. Provide a landscape plan. Now, Kevin, it's you, please.
Okay, great. We should have our landscape architect with us as well. Is Katie?
His or her name is?
Is it Katie?
I'm here, Katie
Great.
Klein.
Perfect.
Very good, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you for having us back. Just as a reminder to the board, if I guess we could go to the aerial photo there on page 4. Just a reminder to the board, this is an existing house and we're doing an addition remodel to it and adding a garage, detached garage. And just as a reminder, this project is situated well back from Sycamore Canyon, well screened from all sides with existing and proposed landscaping. And the landscaping that we'll have to review with you later today. And then to go through your comments. So if we start with the architecture, we have restudied the exterior of the project. And we're proposing to move away from what you saw before, which was a mix of vertical wood siding, plaster, and sandstone, towards a more traditional style of where the majority is plaster with sandstone accents. We still have our metal roof that we're proposing, and we still have some wood detailing at the outdoor patio cover. Right there, yeah. One of your other comments was to take a look at the roof and see how it could be made more cohesive throughout the project. So what we've done is we're proposing that in the existing elevations, there's hip roofs throughout the project, and which is page 15 and 16. So what we're proposing to do is, in order to meld this design with our new roof shape, we're going to overframe those hip areas and create a gable ends, which cleans everything up, and I think really it's actually really benefited the project. Let's see. So then we have the colored elevations in front of you now, which will give you a better sense of what this is going to come to be. We also have the materials board, which is a single page PDF MT. There it is. And this has a little 3D view of the proposed entrance and then materials. So we have our midnight bronze metal roof. We have our Santa Barbara sandstone. We have kind of a off-white plaster, and then we have our vertical grain wood details and steel windows and doors. And then we're proposing a fairly simple exterior sconce that would be the same throughout, and that's shielded downlight. And let's see, we can move to the conceptual grading plan on page 13 of the PDF. There it is. So this, what we've done is this, we've created a series of retaining walls to help steepen up that grade where we need to get this garage to nestle in there. So there's these 3 retaining walls, and by doing that, it allows us to keep the wall height to be a maximum of 5 feet at a small section. The majority of the walls are 2 to 3 feet tall throughout. And then obviously well screened by landscaping and hopefully some sandstone boulders if we can get them to work. So that's the bulk of our changes. And then I'll let Katie present the landscape plan.
Great. If you want to go to the sheet just before this quickly, it's our tree disposition plan. I'll just kind of walk you through the existing conditions.
Just the one? Katie?
No, just the one right before that. Perfect. So just, really insignificant, a few citrus trees, pittosporum, bottle brush we're removing, and then 3 unhealthy cypress in the front, and then the healthy 1 cypress we're keeping. And then we're adding 26 new trees. So if you go to the next sheet, I'll walk you through the new plan. I just wanted you to kind of see the existing site condition with the trees. So we're adding 6 new olives at the street frontage to kind of help with that street frontage. Home at the front entrance, we have some cercis trees and a couple lauris trees just on the west side of the property line there. And then along the west property line, we're also adding new hedging along there to increase privacy. And then as far as hardscape at the front entry, we have enhanced paving. We're looking at pavers. At the driveway I'm talking about right now. When you first drive in, enhancing the paving there, landing in some sort of gravel, natural chip seal feel, and then working your way up the driveway in another enhanced type of pavement. We have images of the feel, and then new concrete driveway. And then the pedestrian entry, we really worked on this to try and make it feel naturalistic with boulders and sandstone steps that really tries to meander up to the front of the door, and using an even more enhanced pavement such as stone at the front entrance and throughout, as well as gravel wherever we can to keep it as permeable as possible. And then all the new landscaping is really low. The next sheet has our rucals that were well within our rucals. And then just before you go to the rucals, I'll quickly walk you through some of the images, such as lighting. We're just a hooded path light at this point, just really minimal. And then stylistically, you can kind of see it's very natural Mediterranean feel as far as our plant palette and hardscape materials. Happy to answer any questions.
So Kevin, you and Katie, you're done?
Yes.
Tip, questions, please.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Claire?
Oh, I think you said it, but I didn't quite get it. But there are retaining walls, and I'm talking about the new garage and the ADU, which we're not talking about. But that whole section down there below, which is below the house, there's retaining walls on both sides of that driveway. Is that correct? And how tall are those?
So on the left side of the garage here, so the maximum height, exposed height of these walls is a 5 foot section, a 5 foot tall section. And that maybe goes for 12 feet. And then the landscape starts to taper up and reduce the height of it.
But then there's below that, there's other walls, right? Down by where the olives are going to be?
Yes, and those are about 2 feet. It's just a very small retaining wall.
Okay. We're still on questions. Is that correct?
Questions, please.
What is the square footage of the paving that's been created, that is being now created for the new garage? It seems there's a lot of hardscape in there.
Mhm.
Do you know
Uh,
how much of that is,
Gosh, that would be hard to
okay, what
say.
is the width of the driveway at the entrance to the garage?
So it's a 3-car garage there. So it's, if that's 40, so we're probably 40 plus feet.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I had, John.
Thank you. Bill, please.
Yeah, so Kevin, I know you've got the fire turnaround. Have you met with fire department yet? on this?
Yes, we have.
They have another turnout radius. I don't know if you've used it before, but it seems like it's shorter somewhere.
Mm.
And have you looked at taking this and moving it over to here and letting that continue out over into into this part of it, the hammerhead part? And then necking this, where you could come in and maybe grab a little more landscape and still have.
Questions?
Yes,
So,
right.
have you considered this?
Have you looked at it? Have you considered?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we met, we showed the fire department many different schemes of how to accommodate a turnaround. And one of the main issues is the narrowness of the existing driveway. There's some existing sandstone walls and pillars there, right there, that really preclude us from including that area within the maneuvering for the hammerhead or any kind of turnaround. So that means we have to start there and then try and make do with what we have. And they were gracious enough to allow us to use this sort of modified, not quite comply with the full clearances. So this is where we arrived at what they felt was acceptable with the existing conditions and also the slope of the driveway.
Yeah. And what is the plan for this area? Is this a turner? Is this where a guest would pull up and unload and walk in and enter, or because this is all parking too, right? Or pull out?
Sort of. It is the current
driveway
parking area for what is the garage. It's pretty tight. So the idea is that if visitors are coming over and they have a hard time walking, or if they're have trouble in any way, they would be able to pull up to this top area and park and then easily get in the house. But any other guest would be encouraged to park below down there.
This is level here, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah.
And last question, had you looked at the idea of scalloping some of this and getting a little more planting in there too? Could you do that? Is there any issue with taking that?
The fire department really wanted us, because we were so constrained on this, they wanted as much area as possible to be able to work with when they do their maneuvering. That was, the bargain we were able to strike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was all. Thank you.
Don, please.
No questions.
Elida, please.
No questions.
I have several questions. Number one, can we go to the FAR worksheet? I just want to, it was pretty darn low, right?
Yeah. It's a big site.
Okay, and you have the FAU in there?
The ADU is in there, yes.
Okay, very good. Can we go back to that plan we were looking at, please?
Site landscape.
Yeah, that's fine. Just whatever, good site plan. Kevin, if I were to say that there's a heck of a lot of hardscaping here on driveways.
Crazy.
What would, yeah, to say the least, what would your comment be about that, please? Is there, have you studied a way to significantly decrease the amount of paving, please?
Well, I mean, we have the existing driveway.
Right?
We have the existing slope that we have to work with. We cannot do much more grading than what we're showing without making the driveway even steeper in sections, which the fire department will not allow. We, as I said to Mr. Wolf, in order to get a fire turnaround to work at all in this location, we have to give them this amount of paving.
Okay.
The garage and ADU are situated as close together as possible per code. The ADU is as tight to the property line as we can get it. So we just don't have a lot of wiggle room in that dimension.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Have you studied rotating the garage 90 degrees and perhaps ending up with a patio on, I'm not sure which way north is, I think north is down, to the west?
North is to the right on this plan.
Oh, it's that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so rotating it so that you don't have that full width there. Have you considered that? I know it's more expensive to dig into the ground, but just as a question, have you considered that, please?
So turning the garage so the openings face Sycamore Canyon?
Yes.
Or
This way, John?
No, next to the pool is what I was thinking, but, and therefore create a deck for the pool. And where I'm really going with this is to help minimize the size of that 40-foot wide gravel that you had talked about. I don't know if it's possible. I'm just asking if you considered it. Just a question.
So we turned the garage. At one point, we had the garage rotated the other direction. And what that did, though, is it required a significant amount of more grading. It also moved it closer to the street, which wasn't great. It really almost presented a two-story garage, the back of a garage to the street at that point.
And you did not look at putting it next to the pool, though. That's the question I have.
We did not, and that would be a very significant increase in complexity as far as the construction goes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Kevin. We're in questions, so, okay. Public comment. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board on item number 6, 2176 Sycamore Canyon Road? Please, Sharon? Anybody? Sharon?
No, John, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so closed public comment. We are back to the full board for comments. We are on for preliminary, first one today. Septic consent calendar. I don't know if we're there yet. Tip, comments, please.
On one hand, I do like the simplicity of the materials, the design this time. And I think that'll be probably a beautiful project. It's clean, it's simple, and the driveway, the paving, that could be, there's an area to the left of the house. It's the concrete stone border. Is that the lawn area or what that is? I don't know. And that's it. Kevin, what's that area?
It's an existing concrete driveway surface.
And is there a reason why you need it? Because it takes you to the front door?
Handicapped access.
Yeah, so that's, and you know what, it's definitely a little more paving like what we like to see it, but just because the location, the new garage is down the hill, and because of that, so I like to find a way to soften maybe the materials using it, a pinnable surface or something like that to make it a little softer. so you don't see all the paving when you come in past the new garage and all the way to the existing motor court, and that you know, personally, I don't think that'll be too attractive as a first impression to the project. And that's those are my comments.
So Chip, as chairman, let me ask you this question. We're on for preliminary. Are you okay with everything? Or do we need one more study because the driveway just hasn't quite got there yet?
No, I think that the project, one of the comments that the applicant needs to address, but I think the project, I think is ready for preliminary, definitely not final.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Chip. Claire?
So I just wanted to ask a question, looking at the plan. This is perfect page for me to look at, Bill. It looks like the garage, the new garage, has 2 bays. Is the graphics with a deck? What is this to the right of the 2 parts?
No, so there's three bays in the garage.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. And do you absolutely need to have 3 bays?
That was part of the design brief that we're trying to accommodate.
So, but by, by parking stand, by, county land use things, this project could only have just two garage bays. It doesn't need to have 3.
Correct. I think per zoning, just 2 covered parking spaces are required.
Got it. Right. Well, that's what I'm remembering. Okay. So I have no problem. With the house. I think the house is really beautiful. I think it's really a major improvement. But the addition of all of this amount of paving that's now needed to enter the new garage, 3 bays, and then all of that. I'm really struggling with taking this beautiful lot, this beautiful residence, and then paving over the whole, the section of all of the thing that is the paving that's needed to get to the garage, and now up there, and now we have all this paving, this concrete in the front of where to get into the front door. I'm not going to be able to vote for this project unless we kind of work out this lower section of the lot. So that's my comment.
Okay, thank you. Bill, please.
Yeah, I agree with the comments of the other board members. I like the architecture, Kevin. I think you did a great job there. I appreciate all your effort on the design of that. And it looks good. It's looking good. Don't have any problem with that. I think there's got to be another way to do this. I hate to keep working on that, but whether it's working with the fire department or trying to, it just seems like this is going to feel uncomfortable driving in, just seeing this huge, it's pretty large space there.
It's 40 feet wide and it's 50 feet.
Claire, you've had your turn. Thank you. If you want another turn, I'm happy, but Bill, your turn, please.
Yeah, it's just like that, Claire. It's a lot of space, and I understand this, and I certainly feel for the owners wanting to get up there and walk into the space on a level ground, not have to take the stairs. So I understand that, and so that's tough too. But that just sort of contributes and adds to this whole thing. So I don't know. I think you could come up with something there. I trust you'll find a solution. But at this point, it just seems like a lot more the way it's shown here driveway wise. So anyway, the architecture is good though. That's all fine. It's just this driveway that's kind of bothering me right here, in particular the front of the garage doors.
John, please.
Thanks.
You mentioned that the paving is 40 feet wide in front of the garage. That seems excessive to me. And it could be 30 feet wide for 3 cars, which is a big difference here. It just, everybody's right. It's just a massive amount of paving that seems unnecessary to me. Possibly some paving, planting in between the garage doors that come out a ways, anything to break up that massive area, but I do not think it has to be 40 feet wide. Other than that, I do think the architecture is good, but this is just too much paving. Thank you.
Elida, please.
Looking at the plan, it seems there's maybe a quarter of this property that's not being utilized. I don't know if it's meant to be a forest feeling or meadow feeling, but in relationship to the overall square footage of this lot, I'm wondering to myself, is there an opportunity that has been missed? And the whole form follows function of the hardscape, I guess, is necessary, but the ratio between softscape and hardscape is skewed in my mind.
Claire, you wanted to make some additional comments? Yes? No?
No, I made my comments. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Claire. Okay, my comments, let's see. I'm getting older. I want to bring groceries into the house. There's not a chance on earth I'm going to park down in that new garage and walk up all of those steps with groceries, period. I'm just not going to do it. And no one else will either. Therefore, what that tells me is that on a very regular, maybe everyday occurrence, we're going to have at least one car and perhaps 2 cars up at the where it says new concrete stone border. I just don't see any way around it. And we have windows. I'm not sure what that room is right there. Not that one, but all of those that are looking out in that area are going to be looking into surface parking, which, you know, I do like this building very much, Kevin. I just think that the automobile circulation doesn't consider how people actually live, or they're going to be looking at cars. I hope that they're very beautiful, expensive cars, because that's what you're going to look at. So outside in the rain, if we ever get it again. So there's something wrong with the site plan about the parking. I can't vote for preliminary for this yet because that site plan isn't resolved. And I'm not sure exactly what to do about that. I don't think that's my job here, but I think that the site plan needs restudy and reconsideration. So therefore, we are on for preliminary. We are required to make a motion. What do we want to do with that, please? Anybody?
Further preliminary. I would make a motion for applicant to return for further preliminary.
Katie and Kevin, can you come back on?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Love to kind of clarify some of these issues that are being brought up if I can.
Okay, so hang on. So the question is, and maybe your questions will help resolve this. Do you think you can get a site plan at the next time around that's going to solve this? Or do you think that this is a fairly big step for you, considering you have a client, you know?
Well,
if you want to answer that by asking questions, please go ahead and do it that way.
Well, I want to clarify some of the things that have been brought up. So one, Ms. Aldrich, you mentioned the kind of the grayed out area on the left side of the plan here.
Yes.
So that's an existing orchard that is really steeply sloped. So it's heading up the hill from the house. So there's really no way to occupy that slope at all. So you can consider that completely permeable planted space that's going to remain. So if you're looking at the balance of what's paved versus what's landscaped and permeable, I'm certain that the balance is primarily landscaped and permeable area. That is quite certainly the majority of this site, this lot. And number two, on the driveway issue, the fire department requirement for this turnaround is what is the driver for this configuration. We've gone around and around with them trying to reduce it. We realize it's a lot, but in order to comply with their requirements, we have to provide a wide area in front of the garage. So even if we were to take away a portion of that garage and just do a 2-car garage, we may end up with the requirement for that driveway to be similarly sized. They don't want us to plant, big trees along the edge of it or anything like that. They need it to function for them. So really, unfortunately, we're kind of stuck where we are due to the slope of the existing driveway and the configuration of where the existing house is.
I'd also like to add, Kevin, just that talking about
Please.
that upper concrete area is really existing, and that's what they're using currently. And they have a family with kids, and they want to use that as, riding bikes and playing on that surface close to the house. And that's really an existing condition. So it's really that lower area where the new garage is that's additional hardscape that we're adding. And, we want more planting as landscape architects. And so we looked at that as well, but there was no moving with that. So that's why we chose gravel. So it felt like a natural surface, at least, and using the harder surface closer to the house where it's already existing. So
Right.
just so you kind of understand that thinking.
And you'll note as you're orbiting around the house, you can see that current upper concrete area is actually wall-to-wall concrete. So we're actually trimming off the edges of it that are adjacent to the house to create additional landscape area and to create that buffer between the driveway surface and the house. And it's also worth noting that this area is not visible from the street. So if the owners choose to park there, that's, on them, and the public is not going to be seeing that. So I'm happy to answer any other questions, but we're really kind of between a rock and a hard place with the fire department and this board.
Anybody want to respond, please? Or are you going to leave it to me?
So I do have a question, Kevin. What's the value of those stone pilasters too, I guess? Or is that even a benefit to you?
It doesn't matter too much. It's a steep driveway, and it's steepest right there at the beginning. So the fire department isn't allowing us to count areas that are over a certain percentage of steepness as a part of the turnaround area. So we're really constrained in that area that's already a little bit level. As you see it up there, there's that where it kind of goes to dirt there. Yeah, that's really where we can work this in.
May I make a jump in here? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin, you mentioned that you looked at the garage, rotating it and going to the west. Is that what that is? Towards Sycamore Canyon, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that was going to result in nearly a 2-story structure. Are you sure?
Yes, by the time we got our back out clearance, it really pushes that garage over to where that tree line pretty much is.
And
And it results in us getting quite close to that setback line,
okay.
and at least 1.5 stories of of wall. So you would have the plate height plus the understory exposed.
You were talking on the other side of the, not there, right? There was a-
No, yeah, I asked about that, the first square during the initial questions. Now I'm asking about the second square. The reason I keep coming back to this is if we, and when I say we, I mean you, can find a way to do an L-shaped ADU garage configuration, that may get you a long, long way towards what you need to do. I don't know why you're burying the ADU, but is there a way to do that somehow, please?
The per zoning, the ADU cannot be attached to any other structure if it is in the front yard.
So
it
hold it,
has to have.
time out. Kimberly, please.
So
Kimberly,
actually, the ordinance language says that if the ADU is over 800 square feet, it cannot be located closer to the primary roadway than the main residence. The ADU also cannot intrude into the front yard setback. If it's 800 square feet or less, it can go 4 feet from the side or rear property lines. It's over 800 square feet, then it has to meet the regular setbacks that all other structures would be subject to.
so how big is it, Kevin? I don't remember.
It's 800 square feet. And Kimberly, that's partially the plan check corrections that we got for it, but there was also language that precluded it from being attached to the garage because it was originally.
Then we get to the section of the zoning code that talks about in Montecito, you can't have a footprint for an accessory structure that exceeds 800 square feet. So if your ADU is at 800, you cannot attach another accessory structure to that because your footprint then exceeds it. You would have to separate it by 10 feet to consider it to be detached to meet the footprint criteria.
And you can't set it on top of it either, because now it's attached and it's over.
We've kind of we've looked at it as the footprint, not if you put it above the garage, then the footprint isn't affected by the extra floor area.
But then there's a height limit, right?
And the height limit is 16 feet for the ADU, but for the overall structure, it's the height limit of the zone designation, which this is not coastal, correct? So it'd be 35 feet. So actually, I'm sorry, Bill, you're right. That we do get that height limit in Montecito that talks about it. And I think you've got a 16-foot criteria, right? Because we ran into this with another one, I apologize. Yeah, Montecito's a little bit different. So yeah, it would be difficult to stack that ADU.
Okay, members of the board, Kevin, I don't want to be arbitrary, but I am going to be. I think we've had enough time on this. Kevin, I think this is a tough project. Katie, I think it's a tough project. I don't know what to do. I don't hear a lot of support here. So maybe you study it, come back, show us why it cannot be in another configuration and convince us that way. But I think I'm having a hard time finding how this thing can work. So is that okay with you, Kevin? I mean, you don't look like you have a smile on your face.
Why would he?
Yeah, I mean, for the obvious reasons. We just, short of eliminating the garage and everything else down there, we're not going to be able to make the fire department happy with reducing the size of the paved area. Obviously that's a major component of getting your project approved. So
members of the board, if I could, and for the applicant as well, you have the option of requesting that the Board of Architecture Review make a motion. If the Board of Architectural Review cannot make an affirmative motion, if they can't vote to approve it, you can request that they vote to deny the project preliminary approval. And that will then give you an option to take that denial to the Planning Commission on appeal. So you can come back and redesign and seek preliminary approval, or you could request that they take action today.
I would like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion with the app. We have to move on, Kevin, I'm sorry. I'd
Sure.
like to make a motion for the, with the following statements in it. Number one, the board likes the architecture of the main residence and appreciates the work that's been done there. Number two, the board is having, will not be able to vote for the existing configuration as proposed unless the applicant shows in a series of studies at the next meeting why this is the only available option that he and I guess she, Katie, have. And we will take a look at that at the next time and then figure out what we want to do with it. I'm not ready to deny this yet. Kevin, is that acceptable to you? Show us some options. We'll try to figure out where to go from there.
Yes.
Okay, and that does not mean, in my opinion, that we're not going to end up with this, but you need to somehow prove that to me. I need a second for that motion, please.
Mr. Chair, that the motion would be to continue the project.
Continue with those two comments, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Just a thought, Kevin. Talk with Alex, see if you can work out a different setup with him if there's a way.
Sounds like he's done that too much already.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor, please? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so Kevin, we'll give it one more shot and then we'll see where we go from there. Thank you. Good
Okay.
luck with that.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Bye.
Okay, item number 7, I have been informed that Tip has to recuse himself from this, so we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members. And this is item number 7, 722 Knapp Drive. Is there anybody here for us, please, to present the project? Oh, Bill keeps reminding me, nice project. Study ways to reduce the amount or soften the appearance of hardscape paving. One member requested that the applicant restudy the fenestration. Is anybody here? Chris, I saw your
Yes.
name on there. Is that you?
Yep, I'm here, and I think April should be here also. April
Yep.
Clancy is the
April,
architect.
are you here?
I'm on. Yep. I'm
Okay,
going to let
which-
Chris start with item number 2.
Excellent. Whoever wants to go. Chris?
Okay, so let's see if we can go to the, I guess, the landscape drawings. And I had realized, I think yesterday, that our landscape renderings, our Lumion renderings, didn't make it into the set. And I'm wondering if I can either show my screen,
No.
or I also sent it to Bill just in case he'd be able to pick that up. There's no new information on it. It's just pretty pictures, but
Kimberly, Sharon, yes, no?
You know, in fairness, Chris, we don't let other people do it.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, I sent it to Bill also. I don't know if he got it, but no big deal. It's just nice pictures because it helps sort of describe how we help soften up the.
Let's see how it goes, Chris, and if it really becomes
Sure.
twisted.
Our
good.
process is not perfect, Chris. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I have the
Yeah.
same thing on SBAR. We usually will let them show for conceptual, but not for beyond that. So anyway, so I think if you can, was this divided up maybe? Because that's not the first landscape drawing. Yeah.
It's in like 4 parts, so
Okay, it's probably part 3.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. There we go. So
You'll find it.
22. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just in addressing the comments, I'll keep it kind of short. I think overall you really like the project, and one of the issues was the amount of paving, mainly around the pool area. And so I made a small list of things that we did to sort of mitigate that. And let me grab my drawing tool here. So first item we did to address that comment was reduce kind of drastically the size of the outdoor kitchen. And we added, the kitchen used to extend all the way down and through here. And so we kind of cut that back and we added these planters, this planter and that planter, and, you know, add a nice tree in here. We also enlarged this and this a little bit and cut down on that. Also, what we weren't showing before were all the potted plants that were on top of the ADU deck, which is part of the pool deck. And there was a staircase that led down from this sort of master garden down to the lower level, which is down here. I guess you can't see that. This is the lower level. So ADU is underneath this deck. So we eliminated this staircase. And so now we just have this staircase that leads down from upper level to lower level. And then we also had shown kind of all this as paving before. So we did a major reduction of paving there. And you'll see in the planting plan, this is actually not all gravel. This is, it's mostly just gravel paths through there and a lot of planting. And so really the only hardscape down below are these little stoops outside the doors here. Otherwise it's all permeable through there. And that, I mean, that's what we did to address that comment. We can
we
scroll
get down
through
to the specifics of that, the actual planting plans?
Yeah, we can go through that as well. Nothing here changed. We can just, yeah, let's see what else. Maybe why don't we just run through these real quick. So just kind of scroll through.
All right,
quickly.
This way.
Hardscape. This is just hardscape detailing, which you haven't seen before. So gates, fire pit is at grade. There's a little fountain in the master area. This is the arbor off the back south side of the house. An arbor over the kitchen, very light metal arbor. This is just our hydrozone plan showing irrigation, same. So it's every plan has front and back, and then irrigation notes and details. And then the beginning of our planting plan, which kind of shows a little bit about what I was getting at before, and that is that all these areas are now planted and with gravel paths and basically just, you know, to get from point A to point B. But otherwise, all the sort of shaded areas are mixed succulent plantings. And I think this sort of demonstrates the, you know, the reduction in hardscape area. So that was really the big comment.
And wasn't there stuff on the other side of the house as well? There we go, thank you.
Yeah, so this is pretty minimal hardscape. We have a patio out the back door, and we have little walkway / patios here. And this is lawn space. And then this is all just sort of gravel paths, large boulders that are existing, which are really cool. And, you know, some steps down, trash area is over here. And then we have these existing pathways that are to remain. I believe this is a new gravel path coming in through to here, but this is existing path to remain. And so I think fairly minimal in the backyard in terms of hardscape. And planting details, lighting plan. And I think that's it.
Talk to us about tree lights. It looks like you have some tree lights, please.
Down lights in the trees.
How many?
And that's, if you go up one, yeah, that shows a few. You can see the existing canopy in here. So we have a couple down lights to get that path. And if you go up one sheet, there we go. So this is the entry. So basically, you know, this is the existing entry drive, which had to be widened due to fire department restriction or access. And so all the lights that are shown in the middle of that driveway are down lights from the existing canopy, just to give a nice little, I think it'd be really, really nice feature actually. Otherwise, path lights, some down lights in the little arbor, and just safety pathway lights everywhere else. A couple more down lights over here in the existing canopy.
And does that complete your presentation?
For the landscape, and I'll have April discuss the final comment, which was, I guess, regarding fenestration, I believe.
Right, so we can jump into the architectural sheets, please.
Is that the first group?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we can start even on that first cover sheet. It's got a rendering that speaks to the fenestration.
This guy?
Yeah, you can even zoom in on that if that would be easier for the members to see. So at concept review, we were proposing clear glass on all openings, no mullions. And what we've landed on is that we would like to articulate the windows with the horizontal mullions to provide that distinct architectural design feature while allowing the doors, the big glass folding and sliding doors, and pivot door to be, I'm sorry, there's the pivot door is solid at the entry, but the ones from the living room and the kitchen and then off the bedrooms, we're going to allow those to be clear glass for those primary view sheds to be visually free. We've got an ocean view to the south and a mountain view to the north, and it's important to the client to protect those clear glass views from the doors. So that initial rendering shows that, and then we also have on sheet A33, which was PDF page 26. I don't know if it's maybe in the second package there. Nope, must be the third.
Third page, third PDF form.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Excellent job as always.
So that would be PDF sheet 11.
Got it.
That's a view we can look at for now. So what we show is the existing versus proposed, one above the other. So the existing had much finer breakup details, like maybe 8 panel or 10 panel doors. And so we've gone to clear French doors and clear folding and sliding doors. I guess we have folding doors on both sides now. Let me see if I can use my drawing tool as much as Chris did. So this was the existing condition, and then we're going to just clear glazing here. That's what we're proposing. And then on the windows, we have a horizontal mullion breakup for kind of a modern look. We're taking this design more into a contemporary pattern. So about 2 sheets down from that is our color board there. And so that rendering at the top shows those horizontal mullions, and then the clear glass at the larger doors, and also shows our color palette being a wood entry door with hopefully a pivot hinge. It may be a side hinge and a side light. And then kind of that view from the living room is very similar to the view that would be from our space, just wide open connection to the north yard that Chris has so carefully articulated with landscape and the pool and the deck. And then we've got those metal windows, if you can stay on that color board for a sec. Yeah, metal windows and doors, and then the metal roof and white plaster and some modern light fixtures, sconces on the outside.
Is that it?
I think that's all you were really looking at in response to corrections. Of course, the full set is fleshed out with all the appropriate window and door details, eave details. Would you like to look at all those items at this time?
Hang on a second. Bill, did you get a chance to scan those?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just reviewing them again real quick here just to see. Looks like there's a lot of structural. Your architectural details are really just this one sheet then? Is that it?
Yeah. Yep. We're really covering just window and door, head, jamb, sill, and the eave condition.
No rake. You have, are they hips? No, they're gables. What are they? Hips, okay. Some gable, huh?
Yeah, some gable.
Yeah, so I don't see a rake detail, but that.
Oh, right, that roof plan did also show the roof spec if you wanted to look at that sheet. A 2.1.
You have chimneys too? No railings? No chimney, fireplace?
You know, can't remember where we landed on the fireplace.
Let's see.
We do. We have a direct vent sealed gas fireplace.
Oh, okay, so it's just something side venting out the wall? I don't see where.
Which room is it in, April?
It's the living room, keynote 1.
That it right there?
So do you have a chimney with that, or it looks like you don't have the ability to take it over without going up?
Yeah, we'll probably go up with that.
But if it's just a little direct vent thing, you won't see it? Don't need
Well,
it.
you'll see it. I don't know that it'll be significant, but you'll see it. Okay, so are we done there or no?
I believe so. Yeah.
Light fixtures, exterior?
Yeah, the exterior light fixtures are there on the color board A33.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go for questions. Claire, please. Claire?
So is it correct that we're here for preliminary final?
Yes, that is correct. We may not make it, but that's what we're on for.
Right, but so we're still going back to the format that we would use before where we're doing questions, or we're just, I mean, usually at preliminary, we're not doing the questions, but making comments. I just.
Questions, public comment, comments, motion.
Okay, okay, my question would be, I would like to see the planning, I would like to see the lighting plan again.
For the landscape.
Yeah, the landscape, yeah, the lighting plan for the landscape. That's my question, okay. And then I would like to have the applicant point out to, I mean, because I don't know what I haven't quite figured out where what the symbols are, the little yellow.
That's it right there, Claire. That's the downlight in the tree.
Right, and then the pathway lights are the little round ones with the dot in the middle. Is that correct? Those are the.
Oh, the crosshair.
I'm trying to decipher what it is that I'm seeing here by the symbols that they've given me. Okay,
So the path light has the cross in it, and the down light has a little dot in the middle. So these going down the driveway here are set in the existing oak canopy.
So the down lights go down the driveway, and then the down lights also go along the path and then out to the side.
Well, let me show you real quick.
Okay, well, maybe that's that. Okay, that's if we're in questions that now I have had my question answered. Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of existing canopy on the site.
Okay, Claire, are you done with your questions, please?
Yes, that's my question.
Thank you. Olida, please.
No questions.
Don.
No questions.
Bill.
Pathway materials. So you went through all that. The driveway's existing.
Existing but widened.
Widened. And what was that material, Chris?
It's asphalt.
Asphalt. Okay. And you widened it for fire?
Yes.
Okay. That was it. Thanks.
Chip is not with us, so my question, Bill, the PDF set number 3, please.
I can get to it there. Everything's covering everything else. There we go.
Okay, we're on 3, page 13, please. Okay, those are the details. Okay, very good. I have no further questions. Public comment. Is there anyone that's attending this meeting that would like to address the board on item number 722 Knapp Drive, please?
John, I don't have anybody here for that.
Very good, thank you. Comments, we are on for preliminary and final. Back in the same order, Claire, comments, please.
Well, we're going to go back to the lighting plan. As presented, my comments are is that I find there to be too many hanging lights, and that driveways can be lighted in other ways from the side, you know, with side lights or however, if it's for a safety thing. But this lighting plan has way too many downlights hanging from the trees, and for me, it's not workable right now.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, please. Are you able to vote for preliminary with the restudy of the lighting?
Yes.
Okay, and could you vote? Okay, very good. So you're ready for preliminary, but not final. Thank you. Alida, please. Comments?
No comment.
Don, please. Don Sharp, are you with us? Hello, Don. Okay, are you there? Okay, Bill, please. Comments?
Yeah, I agree with Claire on the lighting, downlight in the trees numbered. I'd be okay if you could reduce that substantially, just a few, kind of highlights. The even rake, those are new, right? Is that or it says by owner and things like that. I'm not sure what that means. Is that what is that? And these look like 3/4
So
inch.
we don't have a boxed eave right now. We're meeting high fire standards, and the trim board just means it's going to be selected by the contractor in the field. It complies with the high fire detailing, but we haven't selected the exact wood species or color.
Okay, well, I guess the fact that it's wood, painted or treated, I guess, is fine enough. These details definitely would need to be 2x, but anyway, I'm okay with this.
The question becomes, Bill, is between would you approve it, like Mr. Watson is saying, would you approve this for final? Or should we ask them to come back with the details that you would like to see, or any of us would like to see? We can give it preliminary. And they can come back and fix some of these things.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to fix these details in the CDs anyway for final through the county anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. The fact that it's going to be wood painted is enough for me. So I'm okay with it as it is. They could come back and I'm not trying to jump ahead, but I'd be okay if Chris wanted to come back to you, whoever, with a revised lighting plan, and the rest of it I'd be fine with at this point.
Okay, Don Sharp, are you back with us? Okay. My comment again, lighting, Chris, we almost never approve more than a couple of downlights on an entire site, tree lights. It's not that we're picking on you, we're picking on every landowner, okay? Don't feel like we're singling you out. Besides that, I was the one that was making comments about too much hardscape the last time. I think you've done a really great job at introducing that and still having enough hardscape that will be usable for chairs or seating or circulation, something like that. So I very much appreciate that. I think that the project is very nice. I think April switching out to a more open single light structure on a modern building, I think is very appropriate. It's going to be wonderful for the owner. So my sense is the board is ready for final, for preliminary, but not for final. And to that end, I would like to move for preliminary approval with the applicant to return with specific building details that will be acceptable to the fire department, and that is, you know, you've got Bill's right, it's gonna have to be 2x or something of that nature. Flush those out, including the fireplace, please. That might be a scary thing if it's on the roof and it's one of those great big huge direct vents. And the lighting, just really substantially, that's the word, reduce the tree lights. My opinion is the path lights are okay with everybody, the number?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and do come back on consent for those two items, the architectural and the lighting.
Can I ask-
Is there a second for that motion? Then we'll, Chris, you can chat. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Chris?
Okay. I was just going to ask, if we're kind of deep into the building department, I'm wondering if we can make it a condition of approval to reduce the downlighting by whatever percentage, 50, 75%, and to get through here today. If that's,
So are you ready for issuance? Is that where you are?
I don't
We're
think
just about there. We've resubmitted for back check, and so we're about a week from getting approval on our second plan check round.
Claire, what percentage reduction on the downlights, please?
Oh, let's open up the plan again and just go look and see, okay? You know,
Maybe
because,
give more of a quantity of how many you'd want, maybe not a percentage.
well, that's why I would like to just go through the plan, if you're putting it on in my bucket.
but I'll highlight where the downlights
No,
are.
no, I want to do something, no. I want to do something else.
Sure.
Okay. What do you
I'd
want?
like to propose a preliminary final with the applicant, with the planner to review. Claire, do you want to take this on? The lighting? Claire?
Well,
In consultation with the planner?
If they're coming back, I mean.
No, they're asking not to. Can we do this outside, or can you only think of it at consent calendar, please?
Okay. So say what you want, John.
Okay, let me try this. Bill, could you take this on?
Well,
I'll be more than to take it on if you explain to me what it is.
let me explain it, because this is what they would do is Claire, the planner, would send you Chris's revised plan. You would look at it and say yes or no. And until he got your
Until you
yes,
say yes,
he's going to keep sending them back to you so you get it, so he can get it right.
So why don't I just meet with Chris then?
yes, that's fine.
Perfect.
Even better.
You know, I'll Chris and I can, I'll come to the office and we'll go through the plan, and I'll go through the plan and take off what I don't think should be there.
I would like to withdraw the motion I had before. Is the seconder willing to withdraw the second, please? Who seconded it, please?
I did.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion for preliminary and final with the applicant to meet with the planner in consultation with Claire and how you get there, Claire, is your business, to determine the number and location of the tree downlights.
I'll second that.
Claire, do you understand? You're going to meet with Chris, you're going to work it out. And then you'll contact Kylie about it, okay?
Contact the planner then.
Yeah, Kylie Brown.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Is there a second? Somebody,
I
Bill?
second that.
Any further discussion, please? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed. So that's a preliminary and final with one last round with Claire and Chris, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you, Chris. Okay, good job, both of you.
Thank you.
710 Picacho Lane, item number 8. Britt, are you here with us today?
I am here.
Okay, and you have a landscape architect with you today.
Yes.
Minutes, John.
Underneath this, he knows
What is his or her name, please?
Sam Maphis.
I'm
Us.
trying to get
Move him
him,
over.
I'm trying to promote him. There, he's promoted.
Okay, thank you so much. Bill, I love you, bro. I see this cursor. Project acceptable, restudy landscaping and explore options to reduce amount of lawn or other methods, materials to reduce water usage. Provide full details, including ventilation information for the garage. We did not have a landscape architect at the last meeting, so I guess we now have Sam as well. Britt, you want to take over? Sam,
Sure.
however you guys want to do it, please.
Yeah, so you've seen this project twice. The scope is relatively minor. We're just basically excavating below an existing tennis court to provide a subterranean parking garage and rebuilding the tennis court in its configuration, current location with pretty much the same details. We are updating the columns to get away from these concrete cast ones that were done in the 90s. We're having some custom ones made that are consistent with some historic ones from a Reginald Johnson estate that we worked on. And then the big change would be that it now has a garage door which matches the garage doors at the house and the new detached garage that you approved a few months back. So if we go to PDF 5,
2, 3, 4, 5 there.
yeah. Okay, so one of the comments was about landscaping and guardrails at the ramp. We've got landscaping on either side of the wall so that we don't need a guardrail there. And then if you look to the right of the tennis court, you'll see 2 boxes that are clouded. That's the exhaust vents for the mechanical system. So let's go to the next page, number 6. Number 6 shows that inside of the vestibule before the door at the entrance, which is on the left side of the plan exhibit, are the mechanical rooms. And we're showing the distribution of the mechanical system through the garage and how it exits into a well that has a grate that's at grade. And the reason we're doing wells is because we brought the grade up to near the court surface, and we don't have any exposure walls there to make it appear as close to the existing court as possible. So then we can go further down the sheet. There's the elevations that we saw before. We have some hanging fixtures that are between the posts on the arbor, and they're night sky compliant, as you can see in the attached specifications on that sheet. And then we've added some detail to the fence. I think that was an early comment about maybe providing a level of detail to the fence. So we added some finials to that. We'll see that on the detail page. So we can keep going. Yeah, that's that guy. And so there you can see the section to the right there as you on the opposite side of the entry ramp, the grade is up pretty high. So there's no real vents that are going to appear as an architectural element. They're just going to be wells with grates over them. And we can keep going. That's the arbor detail, the column capital, and the wood framing above. And then I think there's one more sheet that has principal architectural details that describe the project. There's the finial, which is what we're doing on the fence as we rebuild it. The columns, as I mentioned, that are being custom made based on some pattern books that we have in our library. And then some details above the garage door that define it and add character that's existing in the house to this structure. Other than that, the original plan was to have a light well and to keep all of the cut on site that distributed the extent of grading across the site and included a retaining wall that was on the east or the west side of the site. We've substantially reduced the grading, and the extent of grading now is about half of what it was previously, and worked with planning to develop an approach to the grading where we have more naturalistic landforms and have an export that they've supported. So I can let Sam talk about the.
So just for clarity, how much export yards, please? Please speak it out loud.
Okay, hold on just a second.
I
So
think it was 800.
no, we've got 500 cubic yards of cut, 500 cubic yards of fill, and 1,200 cubic yards of export, and that was driven specifically by planning.
Yeah, we originally had balanced the site, and we had spread more to the west and up and kind of created a little cheek wall towards those olive trees in the bottom corner of the screen and towards the guest house. But that was kind of too extreme, so we pulled back and have some export. We anticipate we might hit rock, so a lot of that might have to be taken out because the backfill material for the court and around this garden wants to be topsoil and sandy loam. So we pulled the limit and scope back in from where we had it before based on planning comments. And then as far as the landscape, the owners really wanted not much of a change of what they have now, except to expand on the garden. And so taking that axial long kind of spine from the main house through the pool all the way down to the driveway, we had a perfect opportunity to say there's another reason why we can expand the entrance to the tennis court with a very nice rose garden by widening that central alley walkway for the tree roses and creating some boxwood hedges around that. We just, enhanced that formal garden into something that's really much more appropriate to this formal scheme with the house. We also had the opportunity to open up, we'll call it a pullout on the driveway or a drop off, because this long driveway, as it comes up to the main house, really has nowhere for a car to pass. It's narrow enough for passage. If two cars meet head on, one has to back up either to the motor court or out to the open gate or to the guest house. So this became kind of a dual bonus in that it terminates the garden space and that long axial kind of spine of tree roses in a little drop off and a terminus that works for a pullout. So you can see there's some small walls there. All the walls in the gardens are, 2.5 feet. They have pilasters, they'll be stucco, they'll be covered with vines and boxwood hedges. The stone steps that get you down from the pool, because of the materials that at the pool were matching stone on those steps and stone veneer on the caps, and all that will be throughout this new garden, but much of that will be hidden by the plant material. We took to heart some of the comments about, can we reduce the water? One of the ideas was that they really did like all this lawn and the green, but there was no real reason to put lawn around this east side. And we took the opportunity to save some watering and save some water in a more sustainable way and made that ground cover. And we added some trees. We expanded the planter around the tennis courts. So now we have a high ficus hedge around the high fence at the ends of the court. And in the middle areas, we've gone to an iceberg floribunda rose, which is what the owners had before. We're going to be potting up and saving many of those roses in the current layout and saving those and replanting them as part of the new garden. So this is the willow that works out a much more sustainable and much more water saving design. You go to the planting plan, you can see how from the last scheme you saw, we've widened the garden around the tennis court. We've taken the opportunity to make sure that no one can get too close to those walls going into the garage. That tunnel, that entrance has a drop off, but it's protected by dense planting on both sides. It's not a walkway whatsoever. We added trees on the east. We added trees to kind of balance out and frame the entrance into the garage. And then we've also added Italian cypress, which currently line the driveway all the way up to the main house. So we've got Italian cypress coming into the garage. We've repeated them and spaced them in such a way that they work well with the new drop off or the new kind of finial terminus of the garden. So we really feel like we've taken lawn away, given this a garden kind of improvement that's quite amazing to kind of really finish off what was originally very, very thin and very weak. If you go back to the photographs, you can see just how that walkway was very skinny and didn't represent anything of merit There it is in the center. If you go to the Google, you can just see it's bordered with a small single hedge and these little tree roses. So we've just kind of taken the garden and enhanced it in the foreground as you enter the property, and reduced water from what it is now by adding more low needing water plant material that we think represents a much better design finish for this quite beautiful property. I think that's all we need.
Britt and Sam, is that
I think
completed?
that's good, unless there's any questions, John.
Well, we'll get there. Britt, are you done with your
Yes,
presentation?
thank you.
Okay, very good. Questions, Don? Don Sharp? Well, let's see how many others I can find that are not here. Tip?
No questions.
Okay, good. One
Sorry.
reemerged, that's okay. Elida?
No questions.
Okay, Claire?
What is the plant, Sam, what's the plant material that's on that slope to the, it looks like the east of the, you know, what used to
That garden, I mean, that ground cover, Claire, is star jasmine, planted at 3 feet on center. The intent is that'll be just a soft,
underneath those trees on that slope?
correct, underneath those trees. So we'll leave an area underneath the olives that won't be planted, but it'll be a nice wide spacing in that triangular alternating way in a very neat rows. And that should fill in, be quite a nice mass of star jasmine.
No, I was just curious. I mean, it all looks like green to me, but you know.
It is. We didn't show every single plant.
No, I
We just
know.
showed a little grid there to show how they should plant it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Claire, are you done, please?
Yeah, that was my question.
Okay, Bill, please.
Yeah, Sam, is this deep enough to receive a car, like to pull in straight? Like, could you park cars straight in there or not? Is that not deep?
No, Bill, that really is meant to be parallel. So you could pull in and pull out with a maneuver that's just a slight turn. It's not meant to be a 45 or a 90. It's meant to be just a pull in.
They have other areas on the site up above where they can park. Is that for guests?
That's correct. There's actually a parking area for, you know, everyone that guests on the right. And then up in the motor court, there's a circular turnaround. Then there's a private motor court underneath the porte cochere between the buildings. So there's areas to park and turn around. But on that long driveway, there really wasn't a place, if you met a car, to actually just pull over and allow the car to pass and then for you to continue. So we took the opportunity to make at least a nice pull-out slot for that to maybe happen.
Yeah. And then Britt, on your lattice detail, is that wood also, or is that a metal, or what is?
It's a wood lattice. The dimensions are actually a little bigger than what's shown in the drawings. We're reproducing that existing fence exactly, and it shows up in the photographs. The only thing that we're doing is adding the finial and developing a little more stout way to terminate at the edges. It looked a little weak in the way it's built right now.
Yeah, I figured because of the dimension of this, it felt like it was going to be metal, but I think you're saying it's going to be the wide 1x or.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want tennis balls going through it. So all of that's been figured out. We're just replicating that detail with a little bit more attention to the perimeter.
There's your note. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Tip, are you with us? Tip? Okay. Can we go to, I want to look at a landscape plan. I'm not sure which one. Let's try topographic survey.
Oh.
No, it's that one's got it. Sam, the elephant in the room with Wheelo is the amount of area that you are permitted to use in your calculations, right? Yes?
Correct. The square footage.
Yeah. So isn't it required, since you're disturbing the land inside that dash dot, to consider all of that in your Wheelo calc?
Well, essentially, that is it is being maneuvered upward, but it is not really changing what is there now, John. It's like lifting it, but it's same material underneath. So we took that as it's a like for like. It's not something that's being altered other than, you know, an elevation change, but it's the same underneath.
And you believe that therefore it's exempt from WELO?
Yes.
And, okay. That is all the questions I have. Okay, so public comment. Item number 8, 710 Picacho Lane. Is there anybody here that would like to address the board on this project, please?
No, John, thank you.
Okay, comments. This is on for final today. Don, please. Don
Well, I
Sharp?
think it's been very well thought out, and I admire the attention to detail that the architect and landscape architect have done. So I'm ready for final.
Elida.
Well, I think the fellows have done a wonderful job. It's creative, and Sam, this pull-out car bypass turned out to be an asset, actually, and it's a lovely project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Claire?
Yes, I'm ready for final approval. I think we've been working on it for years now, I think, and it really is a really a beautiful project.
Tip, are you with us?
No.
Okay. This is actually a question. I apologize for being out of order. Sam, we reviewed a project about a month or two ago that had lawn, but used a drip irrigation system as opposed to overhead. And they represented, it's not Marathon 2, they said it was another grass, that they were saving 50% or something like that on that grass area. Are you familiar with that project, with that product, that combination?
Well, certainly, John, if you use, the Marathon is a drought resistant fescue, but there are types of Bermuda, hybrid Bermudas, and there's now other grasses one's called Paspalum, that uses about half the amount of some of the fescues. So they are being promoted, obviously, for water savings. It's a different look. It has to be mowed and taken care of maintenance-wise differently, but it certainly is something that is saving water for big recreation areas, for large lawns. It's something.
The representation to us was not only the grass species or plant species, but the underground irrigation methodology as opposed to overhead. Are you familiar with that, please?
Yeah, well, there's systems of matting, and also there's Netafin, and Rainbird has a product that is a soaker that has holes every 12 inches or 6 inches, and it actually is underlaid. My experience with that, though, John, is that, you know, over the years with our hard water and some of the mineralizations without extreme filtration, the little orifice holes of some of that underground seepage or underground, we'll call it soaker hose, they can fail. They can fail in areas where you just don't know, and then you got large areas that have problems. So to be able to take care of lawns like that with those savings, you really need to be redundant and put in a spray system as well as that underground system. And a lot of it is due to the type of soil, type of grainy, draining, sandy material that allows it to water that soil evenly. If it's a different mix of soil, you're going to get water going in through parts of the soil, but not penetrating others. And you're going to get a real splotchy finish, if you will. Part of the grass will be healthy and viable. Part of it won't, because the underground isn't performing. So it's touchy to get any kind of big areas. You can do it in small areas quite easily because the repair is not bad, but it's overhead spray is foolproof. You use it at the right time of day. You certainly use it with moisture control and sensors to make sure you're getting it evenly watered. But it's the most effective in terms of a healthy, viable grass. There's a lot of testing going on with the underground methods as you're bringing up, but my experience is it's very touchy and needs a lot more maintenance and needs a redundant system to balance it out.
So thank you for that education. I appreciate it. About 1/3 of your landscaped area has the designation of low water use. I'm not so sure that you've included the entire graded area. You make the case that I don't need to. I don't know enough about Wheelo to be able to say yay or nay about that statement that you made. But what are you doing on the rest of this, what you want to keep as lawn, to significantly reduce the water use? Or are you saying, hey, guess what? I've got a big lawn. I want a big lawn. I'm going to overhead spray it. No water savings in that area. Where are you at with that, please?
Well, as I explained, John, we have a big lawn now. We're trying to reduce that lawn. We're significantly reducing it with the garden and with that east slope that we're planting. Also, the expansion of planters around the court and around the trellis and around the drop-off area. All those areas are less than what's there now. So we've taken the opportunity with this design to save water on this property by making the planting a different type than lawn and taking away quantities of lawn. I don't have the square footage of lawn that we're reducing calculations, but it is significantly less lawn and significantly more water savings than the property has now.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have no further comments. I do appreciate the education. We are up for a proposal on a motion if we are ready for that. We are on for final approval. Does anybody have a motion that they'd like to make, please?
Love to make a motion for final approval.
As submitted?
As submitted.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion, please?
No. Good job.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I will vote for this. I think that your case is well made. Thank
Can
you
I-
very much. Good luck for this, guys.
Can I confirm that?
Wait. Who
Can I
wants to
confirm
speak?
that Tip did not vote on this item?
Yes.
He sent me something that said he was out on item 7, but I haven't seen him back, Kimberly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Item number 9, last item on the agenda, 669 Picacho Lane. We have Melissa Dana listed, but this is a William Hefner project. I don't know who's here. Okay, board comments. Majority of the board finds the architecture, size, bulk, scale, and site layout acceptable. Relocate pool equipment further away from the property lines, particularly the west property line. Alternately investigate methods at the current location to reduce the decibel level at the property line to near 0. Increase and enhance landscape screening and density, canopy and understory along the western property line. Eliminate a substantial amount of the exterior lighting consistent with other MBAR approved projects. Provide sufficient architectural detail and inspirational photos to allow the board to fully understand the architectural style. Provide section through cabana and associated retaining wall. One member of the MBAR feels that the residence is too large for the site. The grading, hardscape walls, and lighting are excessive and cannot support the project. So this received a 5-1 preliminary approval with clear voting no. Is there somebody here to represent the project, please?
Yes, John, this is Bob Irvine.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Also presenting with us today will be Melissa Dana, talking about architecture, and Mark Kuskowski, our landscape architect. So this is obviously for final design review. We will, in our comments, we will respond to the board member comments that you just delineated from preliminary design review. Secondly, we will go through we will present our exterior finish materials and details. So with that, Melissa, I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Great, thanks, Bob. So as Bob mentioned, we presented this project back in August and received approval to proceed to final review. This is a vacant lot off of Montectio Lane, and we're proposing a new 2-story single-family residence, the basement, and a pool cabana. So if you could go to page 9 of this set. I'm going to go through, respond to the comments from the previous hearing. There was some concern from the neighbor to the west about our pool equipment. It was originally located to the west of the cabana. So we have relocated it. Now it is to the south east of the pool. You could zoom in there. Towards below the pool, below the lounge.
Oh, there.
Yeah. So we have relocated it there, and the neighbor seems to be happy with that revision.
Did you share it with your neighbor?
We did.
Thank you.
And then if you could go, there was some concern about screening. So if you could go to the landscape set. And then go to page 17. We did a study, actually for both the neighbors, because the neighbor to the east also reached out to us. They had some concerns about screening. So we did a study. If you go down to the sections, you'll see that this is for the neighbor to the east. So our house is 669 to the left, and 665, our neighbor, is to the right. And you'll see we're proposing a hedge and some podocarpus trees to provide screening. And if you go down to the next page, this is screening of 630 Hot Springs. And we're also proposing a hedge and podocarpus trees.
At what size, please?
48-inch box.
And the hedge, please.
They have the heights here.
Mark, could you comment on the hedge?
Yes, the cherry laurel hedge will be installed at 36-inch box size.
Which is how high above finished grade, please?
Those should be between 10 and 12 feet high.
On the way in.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, Melissa.
No worries.
Please go ahead.
Another comment was our architectural details. So if you could go to the details PDF. And then go to page 6. So we did put together a full set of details for the project, but just to make things easier for presentation, we pulled out the more important details to review with the board. There was also a request for inspirational photos, so we've included those as well as sort of a reference for the look that we are going for. And you'll see that we had a rake and eave detail for the main house, a parapet for the cabana, the main entry details for that entry door with the limestone surround, the cabana, the typical door and window details, and all the door and windows will be steel at the main house. The cabana door details, and those will be wood pocketing doors. The window lattice detail, which has the terracotta roofing infill. Also our guardrail, which is also having that terracotta lattice detail sort of infill into the guardrail, and the chimney, which we're also doing the infill with the terracotta. Next, there was a question regarding the walls behind the pool. So if you could go to the civil drawings, page 6. And that bottom section is the section through the cabana showing how we step down 30 inches from the pool deck, and then that retaining wall is another 30 inches. Lastly, there was a comment about our outdoor lighting. So we've adjusted our lighting plan. If you go to the landscape PDF, page 10. You'll see that we have reduced the tree lighting and path lighting to be as minimal as possible, but also providing enough light for safety. Yeah, and that, sorry about my dog.
Don, oh, it's your dog, Melissa?
Sorry.
Okay, sorry, Don.
Yeah, and if the board has any additional questions or comments.
Okay, we are on for final tonight. Question, so you two are done, both of you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We are on for final tonight. Bill, questions, please.
So this is the reduced lighting plan, since we're on that right here. These are all downlights, so the bees, huh?
The bees.
The bees in the trees. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then a question for the architecture, back on the details. Here we go. The site walls that you're doing there, are those going to be wood framed and not plastered?
No, this is a guardrail. Sorry, it's a little
guardrail.
confusing, but
Okay.
yeah, that's just sort of our inspiration.
Oh, this is a site wall, and then I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there stone to be placed on the house face? Because you have
right at the front door.
Yeah, the front door. Is that stone?
Yeah, that'll be a limestone, and then we also have stone sills at all of the windows.
Should that be on the cover sheet set? Probably.
You're looking for the rendering?
Yeah, I was looking for the elevations or the rendering. Yeah.
So there's another drawing set, or you can go to the rendering PDF set.
Main house.
Yes. And that first rendering
So
showing
this face isn't stone though, just the trim. Is that right?
just the trim. The walls will be stucco with a slight trowel finish.
Is that the only that's the only place where that stone occurs, but then you have stone on the another accessory building or something, I think.
We do have stone on the ADU, but we're not showing that.
Okay. All right. That was it. Thank you.
Elida, questions?
No questions.
Claire, please, questions?
No questions.
Don, please.
No questions.
Tip, are you with us? Okay, I guess he's left, and I have no questions. So, public comment. Is there anybody that's attending this meeting that would like to address the board on item number 9669 Picacho Lane, please? Anybody? Okay, closing public comment. We are on for final comments, please. Bill.
I would give it final approval, except I think there's probably still, and I'm gonna let Claire go off if she wants on the downlighting.
No, I would actually, I had voted again, I had voted no on this when it was in for preliminary, and I will still be voting no, so I think somebody else on the board needs to take on the lighting.
Okay.
Claire, Claire, are you clear the fact that preliminary is one approval and final is, have they taken what was approved at preliminary, if you voted for it or not, and created the proper project from that approval? Are you aware of that, or are you still going back to preliminary?
I'm aware for it, but I'm still not,
You don't like this project?
there are many things about this project that I can't approve. And so yes, they fixed some of those things, but overall, this project doesn't work for me. Okay.
Very good. Thank you. No, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Don, please, comments?
I have no further comments other than I think it's a wonderful project and will be a good neighborhood addition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure that the western property line landscaping is thick. Is there anybody that knows a heck of a lot more about landscaping? Elida, have you reviewed that western property line, how thick it will be? Claire, I don't know if you're willing to comment about that.
Oh, I can comment on that because after the last hearing, I actually went to the neighbors, and it now looks like what they're proposing and the sizes that they're proposing will do exactly what we had asked.
Okay.
Preliminary, as far as the project is concerned.
Thank you very much for that. Yes.
John?
Yes,
John,
please.
excuse me. Just want the board to know that we worked very closely with Don Nolte, who's the architect for that project, and Don, to secure his approval and blessing on the project, specifically regarding landscape privacy screening.
Thank you. And then I also believe that the lighting is significant. The tree lighting is significantly larger than we approve. I don't know if you were watching our meetings earlier with Chris Gilliand, but we're going to get that number of lighting down to maybe 3, 4, 5 tree lights on the whole project. And clearly you have far more than that. So what do we want to do with this? I don't want to bring this back to the full board unless we, or to the consent calendar unless we have to. Is there a way to get that number of tree lighting reduced on a one-to-one basis, or what? Members of the board, please.
Well, are they willing to reduce the tree lighting?
It's our approval, not theirs, so it's what we will approve. Elida, are you willing to approve this number of lights?
Yes.
I am not. How many people are willing to approve this number of lights, are willing to approve it? So I see one. Elida?
I'm not willing to.
I'm not.
Nor am I.
And Claire, you're voting no. So, okay, so we're going to have to,
Who wants to volunteer to review this one like we're doing Chris Gillian's project?
was that a volunteer, Bill, or were you trying to ask the question so you don't have to do it?
On the volunteer off of somebody else.
What?
I'm trying to pawn it off on somebody else.
Okay.
Nobody wants to deal with it.
No, it's fine. I'll take this one. I don't normally do this. I would like some direction from the board. My guess would be for this whole project, 4 or 5. Is that right, or is that too skimpy?
I think that's unreasonable.
Okay, you've already said you don't want to vote for it. So, Don, you are willing to vote for it.
He's saying go for it.
I mean, I would say you could probably get 7. Maybe 2 here, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well,
6, 7.
My recommendation actually would be to get everything off of the those tree lights that are shown are very close to the property line, especially to, I think it would be the east. And that's how I really look at these lighting plans, is if the lights are centered around the project, the inside, but for me, obviously, it doesn't work here because the project goes all the way from property line, or parts of the project go property line. But the ones, all these ones, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that are all along the property line to the neighbors. And the neighbor's going to have to wake up every night looking at these lights. And that's how I judge lighting, is like trying to keep it into the middle rather than out to the neighbors.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion if I may.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion if I may. I'd like to
Yeah.
move for final approval with the lighting plan to be restudied or to be approved by the planner in consultation with the chairman and anyone else that I'm able to wrap into this, Bill. And
Am I
so
going to be getting an email?
you're going to get an email, yeah. So, and that as submitted, with the exception of the tree lighting. Is there a second for that motion, please?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, so the motion is for final we're still going to work on the tree lighting as presented. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Elida, did you vote for it or against it?
I voted for it. That's a good solution.
Okay, and Claire, yes or no, please? Claire?
Yeah, I'll vote. I actually will vote for it, given what you said earlier, especially, mostly it has to do with the upgrading of all the landscaping, which actually doesn't show on the lighting plan, by the way.
Okay. Okay, so did we vote or? Okay, so we just voted. So it was unanimous with the people that are here. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Bob. Oh, Bob, I want to say something.
Yes.
This is a really good set of drawings, which I've been trying to get out of your office for 5 years. You have now proven that you can do it.
Yes.
You have now set your bar. Okay, get it?
Yes. Thank you, John.
You're
We've heard what you've been saying over the years.
Good, and keep it up here, please. Very, very nice set of drawings.
Thank you
Do I
very
have
much.
a motion for final, please? For adjournment.
Bye.
Hold it. Don, was that
Aye.
adjournment? I didn't get a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Bill, excellent job. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
Bill, you're keeping Don away. He's intimidated. He's not coming back because of your good works.
Dave, yeah, Dave. Well, he and I learned this all together at the same time, so.
Well, it's appreciated.
Does anybody want to try an image?
Sure, you got another?
I got a lot of them. Let me see if I can find this one. Right here. Okay, what do people think?
Frank Lloyd Wright, is that Taliesin? No,
Anybody else?
I can't quite see it. It looks.
Don, I thought you might be able to know this one.
Yeah, I can't bring it up.
Hold on a minute, John, can I say something? John, Kyle. Did you raise your hand?
Tip, you're back with us or no?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We just wanted to say thank you. And yes, Nolte did cooperate and we went through this in detail and we're appreciative of the neighbors for what they did and the screening and moving the pool equipment and encasing it as they said they would. So the cooperation was good. So thank you. And thank you to the board.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is from the owners at 6:30.
Okay, so this was built in 1955. It made it to the National Registry of Historic of Landmarks. It was destroyed in a wind. The central chimney, which you can't see here, was actually an oil well bit. And it was torn down in 2016. Designed in Norman, Oklahoma. Does that help anybody?
Is it an oil well?
Bruce Goff the Bavinger house. It's no longer with us.
Yeah. Well, I retract my Taliesin now that I see it. I stopped sharing so I could see it.
Yeah, so anyway, I thought I was going to get Bill. You know, he's been guessing all of them. Okay, any other comments before I go?
Thank you, John.
Thank
It's a
you.
long day. Thank you.
Okay.